Good meowing Splatoon, Stronghold, and Splatoon players. We're going to come to you today with the SBA Showcase Season 5. We're going to have 6 teams participating. First game, Project Orca versus Inkfetti. Anything to say, Parasite?
Oh, actually, bad woofening. Why are we good meowing this? Why are we barking out these pet jokes at the beginning of a stream when we have a very interesting set to watch?
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what the SBA is, we're gonna take new or beginner players to competitive. We put them in teams with coach and team managers, and then they're gonna participate in the showcase to compete for Valedictorian of the Academy Season 5 or the Academy season. So I'm Umbra. The person casting with me today is Parasite, and
Hello.
we're gonna start you off with our first round: Project Orca versus Inkfetti.
Very, very fun team names, I think. They both have some ring to it I actually quite like. They are actually quite creative names actually, in my opinion. I'm really excited to see what comps they come up with.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have Drip Drop Die, Holy Sponge, Project Orca, Splatatouille, Bland Decapitator, and Inkfetti.
Very, very, very fun names, I think.
I agree. And if you guys are interested in signing up for the SBA Season 6, applications are opening very soon, or if you want to participate and help out the Stronghold, you can sign up to be a helper, such as a commentator or a coacher, or you can work with one of our teams as a staff member. So check it out.
And now we're going to be going into the comp for Project Orca, and I am very happy to see an Elita main right off the bat. I love Elita. That's all I can really say. But I do also find it really interesting that they have Brown Dapples as well. They've got a very wide roster with a bunch of different weapon pools that may come into play here.
Now, while you did say they have E-Leader, I do see the pencil and headed.
No!
Yeah,
No!
so
No!
looks like gonna be running maybe pencil, sword, pro. We're gonna see it.
I need this team to hear me and play Lita. However, pencil and header are very powerful weapons. And
Here, I'll ping them right now.
Please! We love Elita. However, as most of the weapons in this pool are very powerful, we could expect to be seeing a pencil or a header, because cooler is quite crucial in these stages of the game.
Personally, I'm gonna hope to see pencil with stamper. I am a sword player, so I do love to see its love being given out. Does look like they have 5 players though, so it's gonna be interesting to see if they do any roster swaps mid game or mid match.
That would be very interesting to see.
Okay.
Now
Moving on to our
moving
other
on
team,
to
Inkfetti. Great. Now we have looks like Solstice, Kyriomiri, JT, Zia Bunny, and Random. Interesting.
I do want to point out right away, I don't think they actually have that much of a backline. You can see Cooler Rapid possibly coming out from Kuriyami, and potentially Explo being played as a backline from Z Bunny. But I feel they do have 2 sword players, which is quite interesting.
They have 3 sword players.
3? Wow.
Decav, and Sword. Maybe, just maybe, we're gonna see some really wacky comps today. I can't wait to see that.
I hope so. I really want a rerun of last season where they had triple bucket in the finals. I feel like it would be really fun to see triple decav. Not decav, triple sword. It's really fun to see wacky comps come out of these kinds of things, because you never know what to expect.
Personally, I don't think we need to see triple decav. Okay,
I think however, as we
Robozones first. Jesus.
Robozones, what a classic map. A very
If you guys don't know,
very well-known map mode as well.
our favorite Zuko map. So looks like it's best of 3, round 1. We're gonna start with Robozones, head into Rainmaker Storage, and then for our tiebreaker, we're gonna go into Umami Clams. I can't wait to see this Robo game. There's only one Dreadringer, so I might not just see a billion sliders.
You never know what to expect on Robozones. It's a very cheesy map. Reap sliders are very crucial for this one. However, I do want to point out that this is also a really good charger map. You can take most of the zone from Glass, and it's a very interesting map mode to play charges on. I'm really interested to see what Project Orca runs for this composition.
I just pinged their leader player
Oh,
and told them to play E-leader. If you go check the general chat, you will see it.
okay. This should be very fun to watch. I'm really hoping to see some Lita action within this tournament. However, there's not really much we can expect. It's a bunch of new players, and with them all being new to the comm scene, anything is possible.
It will be interesting though, because I don't think they have many backlines on any of the SPA teams apart from that E-leader and Pencil. So it's really just going to depend on how well they can avoid peeking this leader and how good the leader is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like with Inkfetti, you can also get this really heavy rushdown comp. But as we move into the first game, we'll see what these comps are, and we will see how these will play out.
Yeah,
Triple bucket!
What the heck?
Oh my gosh, it's the Polycule rerun! I had to make that joke, sorry. Anyways, as we move in, on Project Orca, I think.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
He actually can see.
Yeah.
I believe Inkfetti is purple team, Project Orca is the green team.
Right. And
like
as
we're
we
in a
see...
standstill right now, they do popular. Oh.
Yeah. Immediately, Inkfetti is able to take the zone. However, we see Project Orca able to cap the zone. However, all teams are still here. They have a lot of specials to play with. The splashdown goes down as well.
Incredible slider from Pure Yamiri. Whoa. Oh, looks like the Zap is pushing in. Oh, Dooley's gets the kill. Now, they gotta keep in mind that they do have another slider ready. They might cheese the zone here, maybe get a pick. They do get a pick. He does go down.
3 players go down.
Wow.
Absolutely, that was incredible. As we see strikes come out from the side of Ink. This is...
Project Orca.
Project Orca, yeah. My apologies. I am experiencing a little bit of lag.
Looks like one is trying to flank. They do jump out. Now, they gotta keep an eye out for that Expo splashdown, because that could punish if they try pushing in too early. The Zipcaster might be really good for them. They do splashdown. That's a huge reslider. Holy crap.
That is a bunch of specials coming out at once as Inkfetti is able to take the zone by storm. If they're able to hold on for just a bit longer, they may be able to see the lead for Project Orca.
Looks like they're being really aggressive here, trying to hold the choke. They do
The
pop a cooler though,
out.
so let's see.
A very early
down.
reslider coming out from Project Orca, as we see strikes also coming out alongside that splashdown, trying to cap the zone. However, not quite being able to do so. Inkfetti being able to maintain the zone and getting to 40 ticks left. With Cooler coming out, will they be able to keep this push tempo up? We shall see.
Really, they have no specials ready. They do waste splashdown really early. This might be their issue.
They do
if they
have
can slide
reslider
through the
though.
zone, they might be able to flip.
This may be, and they go in, and they are able to get out of the control, and it's really close to Project Orca, and they are able to take the zone thanks to that dread. Strikes coming out, and the Doolies were able to just play around the right side, trying to get a pick off of that Explo, not quite being able to do so, as they are picked by the Gal, trying to get a second pick. However, 2, 3 going down to the side of Inkfetti with that Ultra Stamp.
With 2 down here, it looks like Inkfetti's still holding an incredible lead right now, and they pop Zipcaster. Their Zap goes down, 2 go down on their side. This is their time to push. They need to go right now. They're about to have a slider. If they can flip the zone here, they might be able to block it off.
Ooh, that is a
down.
really nice double from the Gal. They're able to push in, cap the zone, and they are able to go into this position where they should just push up and try and keep Inkfetti out to try and take that lead. However, we see the stamp coming out by Z-Bunny again. Will they be able to get a pick? Yes, they will on the Explo, as they are trying to cap the zone, going for 2 more picks, unable to do so, having to back up. And we see the zone is still neutral.
Currently in a 2-2, but they do splash down here. They might be able to get the advantage, but that Explo is going to get picked off, and they do go down. This looks bad for Project Orca right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Inkfetti has been able to take these zones by storm, and if they aren't able to push in soon, they might just be able to get a KO. However, 1 member does go down on the side of Project Orca. 2 members go down as we see that Zip coming out, being able to catch a pick off of the Dread.
Now they're holding the choker. It looks like it's taking down. Only 10 seconds left to go. He gets a huge pick on the sword. This might be over. Unless they can slider right now, they can't survive this. He does get a huge pick, but he's just the last player. Oh, wow.
That was incredible. I was really surprised to see the slider not capping the zone. That was definitely not expected. However, Inkfetti are able to take game one in a KO, and things have just got quite interesting. Project Orca has gone against what we thought we'd see, and instead played triple bucket with no backline, and just generally playing quite aggressively, but not being able to match the tempo of Inkfetti. I think that was quite interesting.
Just that major issue for them right now, it's that stamp and that sword. Like, the stamp, it just kept going in, they couldn't even shoot it down or kill it, so it just ran in, capped the zone for them, and then the sword has such long range, how are they going to fight it, right?
Yeah, and especially with that zip caster, they were able to apply pressure to their backlines. It was a very interesting match. Project Orca was able to hold their ground, however. They were able to retake the zone quite a few times. So this may be a very interesting back and forth between the two teams as we move on to Scorch Rainmaker.
I mean, Project Orca looked like they had a really interesting comp of that triple bucket. I don't know if that custom Explo is going to be an issue, though, because of that splashdown and wall. I don't know if you know, but Splash Wall is pretty good into swords. It didn't look like it was too much of an issue, but we're just going to have to see, because we're going to be moving into Rainmaker's Scorch Gorge. This is a pretty bad map for Slider, so we might see some changes in picks from the Dapples and the Dread Slider, or the Dreadringer we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. With Scorch, you need to make sure that you have a really good opening push or a really good first push, because if you do, you just get put in this position where you're able to hold it quite well. However, with these teams, they may be able to keep going back and forth, as we saw in Robo Zones. Especially with their tempo, as both teams play quite fast-paced. I'm very interested to see what we see within these two teams.
Yeah, it looked pretty close. It was just kind of unfortunate that they got locked out. They didn't have many entry specials, though, so it's really just going to depend on how well they can play here, because Scorch Gorge is considerably harder to be locked out on.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need to make sure you have the right resources to be able to push. I'd expect to see possibly some strikes or a booyah here. However, with Inkfetti also having several sword players, I wouldn't be surprised if we see decap in this set. But especially considering Bubble is quite nice for Rainmaker.
I do agree. I think we could totally see a double Bubble comp. Maybe we could see 2 decavs and a sword coming out right now. That could happen. Don't think about that.
That would be really fun to see. I just love seeing these fast-paced comps that always have the sense of uniqueness towards them. It's always nice to see the competitive scene come up with new compositions.
Oh, yeah. So, just an update on round 1 of our Swish stage so far for you guys. Drip Drop Die is currently 2-0 versus Splatoon. Holy Sponge is currently 0-1 versus Bland Decavitator. And of course, Project Orca versus Inkfetti, with Inkfetti winning. And I just got a ping from the Stronghold server, so let's see if they said so. Umbra are exploiting the main server for content midstream.
Of course.
There we go.
We love looking through our resources midstream.
We need as much content as possible, guys.
Absolutely.
Please. Okay, so looks like they're still going, and by the way, I am pretty sure this is going to be play all 3 matches to see where you get put in Swiss. If you guys don't know how Swiss works, we're going to be going into 2 different single elimination brackets after the Swiss stage is completed, so we're going to be playing 4 rounds of this, then moving into the senior bracket, which is the higher bracket, and then the sophomore bracket for the lower players. So whoever wins the senior bracket will be crowned Valedictorian of the Splatoon Beginner Academy of Season 5.
You see, I think these teams may be clawing their way to victory. See what I did there? Even with the animal puns.
Currently, the stream is not showing anything to us. There we go.
Here we go. And on the side of Inkfetti, we see Wellstring, and on Project Orca, we see a Tri-Stringer.
Wow. Okay, let's just see how it goes. Currently, they're running triple whale with a cooler, so this is going to be an interesting experience. I don't know how many picks they're getting off the whale, though. Looks like we're
Ink
still seeing a
Betty-
sword and a Zap now. Okay.
Yep. Ink Betty is able to get that pop right away, and one member goes down on the side of Project Orca. And we see they're all basically by their ramp with another member going down. Another member going down to the tri-stringer. However, on the side of Ink Betty, due to the stringer, and we see the Rainmaker beginning to be pushed in, but we see these duelies try and get an early pick, and they're able to do so, getting 2. Will they be able to get that 3rd pick? Not quite.
Yeah, it looks like now that Nautilus grabbed it, Project Orca could get a strong lead here, but they're going to have a Zipcaster. They do get the pick off. Zipcaster and Sword is going to be a massive issue. The Sword goes down, they lose Zipcaster. That team might come back with Cooler, though. So they're going to have to be really aggro here if Ink Betty wants to push up.
We see the
But they do go
bucket
down
trying.
well.
We see the bucket trying to push up and be more aggro. However, they go down to the well, and the gal is trying to hold that ramp, and they are able to do so, getting a pick on the Rainmaker. However, going down, it's now a 3v4 from Ink Betty to Project Orca. Ink Betty grab that Rainmaker, but go down to a splat bomb as we see Cindy trying to maintain this check. However, going down to the bucket. It's only a matter of when this team will be able to get the check, as Project Orca has been holding it off quite well.
Yeah, looks like very close 2v2 right now. They're gonna have strikes and a stamp coming out soon. The Dapples gets a really big pick off on the Zep. He's gonna go in for the push. Now, and he miss the jump? He does get the jump. That's huge. It's 2 players down. They need to take space right now and move the Rainmaker.
They do absolutely have quite a bit of space, as another member goes down on the side of Ink Betty. So it's the Ultra Stamp getting that snipe, and the Rainmaker is trying to move up, not quite being able to do so yet, as Ink Betty is able to hold that ramp, and the Rainmaker goes down. It's a very even game right now. Anything can happen.
It's like someone's trying to hold on the right side of Scorch. They do have a Rainmaker in mid. Pick down. It is a 3v3, but the Rainmaker might go down to the Dapples. If he does it, though, they might get the checkpoint here. Can he do it? He does get a pick off,
but
they
able
get
to
they don't get the checkpoint. That's huge. Wow.
The Dapples are still trying to fight, being able to try and get that pick, being able to do so, but however, being traded to the Zap. And another member goes down on the side of Project Orca. The Zap is poking that right side, trying to get any more value. And this team is just able to hold that ramp, not letting Project Orca out, just as we saw in Robo Zones.
Well, they're just being super aggressive, and 2 players from Project Orca goes down. But the Rainmaker does reset. Let's just see if they can pick it up in time. That gal gets a huge pick off. The Sword might be able to pick him up. He does go down. This is Project Orca's time to push out. And they have a whale ready. They have 2 whales ready. This could be big for them.
And the gal goes in, trying to get a pick, however, is not able to do so again to that Zap. The Zap getting 2, however, also going down. This is still very even as the caller comes out on the side of Project Orca. Will this give them the ability to push up? We shall see.
Looks like no teams have specials right now. Ink Betty's going to be coming up on a Zipcaster. And this is pretty bad for Orca at this point. 1 minute left. A huge pick on the stamp. Holy crap.
Actually insane. We've been seeing some very nice Ultra Stamp snipes from that well string. And the Stamper is trying to push in that left side, getting their Zip. Will they try and get any picks? Yes, they are able to get 1 pick.
Wow.
However, their recall does get camped by 1 member of Project Orca standing behind them. 3 members going down on the side of Ink Betty. This is now Project Orca's time to push, as we see them immediately pushing that Rainmaker with those dualies for protection, and the gal also there. However, not quite being able to see the members of Ink Betty coming at them from all sides, and the Rainmaker goes down. And the Stamper gets 1, gets 2 for the trade, and we see 2 members on the side of Project Orca go down, make that 3.
Wow, okay, so 25 seconds. They have options here. They could either try getting that checkpoint and getting a lead really fast, or they could just stall it out. 20 seconds left. Looks like they're just going to be holding for a bit. This is a huge issue from Project Orca. With a Sword and a Wellstring on the same team, they're going to be able to break the Rainmaker bubble a lot faster than the enemy team.
But 2 members go down on the side of Project Orca. And Ink Betty just able to keep that hold. The Tri-Stringer trying to get that pick on the Rainmaker. However, it goes down, and the second game goes to Ink Betty, making this a 2-0.
Okay.
Very,
Let's move the
very
game
exciting
brief.
to watch.
That was,
Absolutely
yeah,
exciting to watch. As
You know,
I
in my
ruin my
opinion,
throat trying to speak high pitch because of how exciting this is.
I think Inkfetti definitely could have pushed pretty hard there with a Wellstring and a sword. That's some insane object damage right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, it looked like the teams were both it was like a really close match for the teams. They were both not able to get the checkpoint on Scorch of all things. So, I'm hoping that this Umami Clan game is going to go really well. Looks like we're doing Umami Clams round 3, so we also have an update for the other teams that are participating in the academy. So Drip Drop Die has now 3-0'd Splatoon. Holy Sponge is 0-2 versus Blend Decapitator. And of course, we're about to go into our final game of Project Orca versus Inkfetti.
Absolutely. Both teams have been playing really well. I think this was a really good matchup to be able to watch.
Yeah. The only thing we're really missing right now is that comp, because Triple Whale is not going to be able to get their team in. It's only going to move the enemy team around. It's not going to get kills for them.
With Umami Clams, we might see the return of the Dread, especially considering Reef Slider can be crucial for Clamblades being able to push in and being able to be used as a beacon for the other team members to try and get a quick clam in to their basket to try and take a quick lead.
Oh yeah, and Project Orca, all I'm saying, if they ran an E-leader, it would do really well into their comp.
Please. I beg of you, please. I'd love to see an E-leader. And I'm not
Can we get some people in the
this
chat telling them to get leader on, please?
And I'm not saying this as an E-liter one trick who only plays E-liter because they love the weapon, but because trust, E-liter is a good weapon. Trust, it's not
Your
because
profile
of the first
literally
one.
said. Your profile literally says Div 6 just leader main.
Okay. My bad.
Okay gang. Parasite only plays E-leader. I think we have bias here.
I very clearly play Inkbrush. Very
Have you ever
evident.
considered playing Pencil?
I have some very strong feelings against Pencil to the point I shall not be mentioning this on this stream. And we see Dapple Nouveau come out on the side of Project Orca alongside the new Tri-Stringer. And on the side of Inkfetti, we see a very similar composition.
Yeah, it looks like Inkfetti is going to be running some chip damage comp here, and it's pretty good into the synergies, but that Inkjet is a massive issue. The Dapples goes out really early to the Wellstring. This is bad for Project Orca. Wellstring's going to chip them back. 2 players go down. This might be their time to get a ball, because that sword does have 6 clams.
3 members Juice goes down on the side of Project Orca. That sword trying to get that Tri-Stringer and not quite being able to do so as we see the Inkjet come out. Will they be able to get a second pick? No!
Wow!
Oh, that was insane. Being sniped like that from an Ultra Stab and another member going down to that Wellstring. Will they be able to get a third pick? Not quite. However, Inkfetti do have the clams to continue making these pushes up into their base, as they do have another power clam. Will they be trying to hold this and keep Project Orca locked out? We shall see. The Dualies do try and go in, unintentionally picking up that power clam and not quite being picked off yet, as the sword also comes back from their zip recall.
And they get another pity jump in. This is really bad for Project Orca. 35 to 100. It could be anyone's game though. If they can stop them from pushing in, they might be able to stop it. But 2 players do go down. Looks like they're still getting clams in, but has the reserve run dry? Maybe. Zap still grabbing them. Bucket goes down. Oh, Zap goes down. 3 go down. It's just a sword.
And the sword is backing up, trying to hold that mid, being able to get pick off of that gal. Will they be able to get more picks and secure mid? We shall see. No. Ooh. As you saw there, everyone, the Reef Slider got cancelled by Inkfetti, and we see an Inkjet come out on the side of Project Orca, not quite being able to get much value, but 2 members do go down on the side of Inkfetti. This is still anyone's game.
Looks like he didn't get the pick off on the stamp. The Zap is just running it. He does get a really good pick off. This is bad for them. They lost the ball. They are able to pick it back up, but they are a player down. So let's see what's going to go on here.
Yeah, we see two members go down on the side of Project Orca, Inkfetti being able to stand their ground with another member going down. Now it's just being 1v1. That Stamper getting a really nice pick off of that gal, and now going into a 1v1 with the gal, Zap.
Zap.
Not quite being
You're not
able
gal.
to get that pick. And we see the Zap now taking out this cooler, and another Inkjet going out on the side of Project Orca, not quite being able to get any value, and the gal goes down to a 3v1.
Okay, another player goes down. 2 players go down. 3 players go down on Project Orca's side. It's just the gal. I think the gal might go down here as well. They are able to make a ball in a second, and they have a stamp. But the bucket goes down to Killer Whale. This is really big for them. They need to push right now. Otherwise, they're going to get locked out completely. Just 2 minutes left on the clock, and they have to get to 26.
We see this Reef Slider coming out on the side of Project Orca, being able to get picked. That Zap getting 2, and a wipeout being delivered by Project Orca on Inkfetti, and now the clams begin rolling in. Will this be a turn of the tides? We shall see.
They do get the 62. This is a pretty good, but the Project... Oh my god, Project Orca goes down. It's just the Dapples. Where is the Dapples? Oh, there they are.
I believe the
They're back in
Dapples
spawn.
have jumped out, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We see 2 members
They are
going
really
to
Stronghold.
that dome. And these dualies are trying to camp out that zip, but with the amount of pressure being extorted on them, they are not quite able to do so. The Power Clan being jumped in by Inkfetti, and we're back to basics with Inkfetti being in their base, trying to get more clams in, however unable to do so as a result of their team going down.
Yeah, so they're going to have strikes ready on that bucket soon, and this honestly might be over. All they need to do is put 2 power clams and maybe a bit of clams in, and we've seen that Inkfetti 52 gal goes down for Project Orca. This is horrible for them. All Inkfetti needs to do is just hold for the next half minute, and it's over. They can't do anything here. They do have strikes ready too. They control the game.
They do have the Inkjet coming out, trying to touch for some value, and the Reef Slider going out and getting that Stamper. 2 members going down on the side of Inkfetti. Could this potentially be the luck they need? We shall see. As another member goes down on the side of Project Orca, Inkfetti desperately trying to stand their ground. 1 member being behind that stamp, trying to get that pick, but not quite able to do so. The Wellstring sitting on top of that mid, trying to lock them out. However, as Project Orca have a ball, we shall be going into overtime.
They lose their zip from the sword, so 4v3, this might be doable for them. They're going to come out with their own stamp and cooler, though. 2 players go down, they need to go right now.
They do have cooler, so we may be able to see Project Orca
the sword.
rush into the base. 1 member going down to the
Can he push?
Oh,
no.
That
So
was
close.
really unfortunate, as this set ends 3-0, Inkfetti taking the set by just steamrolling Project Orca. Some very nice games here.
Okay, so confirmation on that E-Leader ping, guys. They did say they can. So next time we stream them, we might see something. We might see something pretty cool.
Please.
Pretty freaking cool, you know?
Pretty please with a small little cherry on top.
Then the E-Leader main. That didn't say they were an E-Leader main.
Oh, leave me alone. You're just barking these insults at me. See what I did there? I need to come up with more puns.
Yeah, so far we've only done good meowing and bad woofening, and I felt like that was reaching there.
Good meowing, bad woofening, barking, clawing, the way to victory. And however, now that this set is finished, we shall be going on a small break, and we will see you in a few minutes. Good
Hello,
glubbening?
guys. Good glubbening? Okay, then
Good
what do I say?
glubbening.
Bad
Okay,
goobening.
I say good glubbening as you think of the fish, and it's like the first thing I came up with. However, we are back with the second round of Swiss bland decapitated versus drip drop dry. Wait, drip drop die.
Oh, God. Say that 5 times quickly.
We love seeing a fun tongue twister on the SBA showcase.
Yeah, okay, so Bland Cavitator versus Drip Drop Die. If you guys don't know about Drip Drop Die, they did go 3-0 against Splatoon, but Bland Cavitator did go 2-1 against Holy Sponge, so we're gonna get a pretty interesting game right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see on Drip Drop Die's team.
Oh my
Looks like-
god. Am I in heaven?
Okay. Okay.
This is very, very whimsical times for me, as we see a single bucket on the side of Van Decapitated from Flamber. However, we also have 2 players that play Elita. So,
Okay.
there might be a very decent chance we see an Elita, which I beg,
So-
I beg to see. Says the
So to give-
non-Elita main.
Yeah. Okay, I'll add everyone in the server and link your Sendo profile, and they will see what you play.
No, we don't. You won't see an Elita. I can promise you that.
Oh my God.
However, we also
Okay.
on the side of oh, it seems we're having
wait.
some problems. However, we did get
Oh.
teased with a little other Elita. So,
So Drip Drop Die double E-liter? What a
Double
Kraken?
E-liter?
Oh my god.
drip drop die coming out with the Elita who also plays Carbon and Luna. Some very interesting weapon pools we see here.
Interesting. So, just to follow up on Hater's team, I have to appreciate Flamba. Round of applause, folks, for Flamba. They are the first one trick we've seen in the SBA Showcase Season 5 so far. A bucket one trick. This is incredible. I've never seen this before. Look
However,
at everyone else. However,
I do quite enjoy the variety in comp we see from Drip Drop Die. Especially considering we might see again a charcoal decap coming out from the side of Drip Drop Die. This is going to be really fun to continuously say.
It looks like we've riled up the chat too. They're saying go E-liter, show us E-liter. So
Please, thank you,
please,
thank you
okay.
for agreeing with me.
So in terms of comp building, what do you think Drip Drop Die is going to be running? Personally, I'm hoping to see Carbon with a 96, a Zap, and maybe the Head It. What about you?
Of course, no Elita, of course. Anyways,
I'm a sword player.
okay, that doesn't stop you from liking Elita. But anyways,
Yes, it does.
Okay, I'm not quite here to talk about comps. However, we oh my gosh, we are able to begin to see the maps from this specific round. As round 1, we will go into Undertow Spillway Rainmaker, followed up by Zones Haggle, and rounding it up with Ship-Shaped Tower. Some very, and I say very good Elita maps. And I'm not emphasizing Elita because I really want to see Elita.
You're
These
just
are
really
really
sick.
good maps.
Yeah.
These are really good maps. Some really interesting comp building from
Hey,
both
what are your
of these
opinions on
teams.
Mincemeat? What are your opinions on Mincemeat?
Mincemeat.
Really quickly.
I don't actually like Mincemeat that much.
Said the E-liter player, what the heck?
On the side of Land Decapitator, we do see a Welshring, and again, no Elita. Today is
Yeah,
not
you know what?
my
I don't
lucky
see
day.
an E-liter on both sides. Checkmate.
No, the lack of Elita is so sad. However,
Knock out,
we
whatever
do
this game is.
see a Hydra, and I find that quite interesting. I do quite
You
like
see-
a Hydra paired with a Wilson.
And double backline? Oh my god, someone's running a sploosh too? They'd be super aggro here. The
Ooh.
Luna gets a huge pick on the Hydra, holy crap. Trying to push in.
Are they able to
Maybe
get two?
they get a chip
The
off, they
Luna
get two
gets
picks.
two.
Wow.
The Luna's trying to go for that well string. Are they able to do so? Yes,
And they get the wall
they
string.
are.
That's huge. That crab take is good for the fence, but they go down. They're stuck in spawn. They're stuck in spawn. They can just run to the left checkpoint. They can't do anything. One player is trying to come up for the fence. Bucket goes down. Looks like Sploosh still has stamp. They might throw it. Gets a huge pick on the Hydra, and their bubble goes down. 2 players down on their side. Looks like Drip Drop Die is just going to continuously be aggro here. Throws another stamp. Gets another pick on the bucket.
Drip Drop Die is showing some absolute pure aggressiveness that we did not see in round 1. Strikes coming out to try and have the Rainmaker gun as they go to the final 10 takes, only to then be picked by Bland Decapitator. However, they are able to get that pop, and they are able to wipe out the team. Oh my gosh.
Wow, those stamp
That
throws were on point right there.
Crazy. That was so fast. And Drip Drop Die is able to take game 1. They've proved me wrong. Maybe Elita isn't as good on Undertow Rainmaker as I thought. However, we do go into Hagglefish Market, and with this map mode, you do tend to see quite a few charges here, as they're able to take a bunch of paint. However, with how Drip Drop Die has been playing, we are able to see them playing really aggressively with a large amount of paint. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't change their comp.
You know what? I really gotta say, those stamp throws were on point for them. The Sploosh and the Luna, my god, they were incredible stamps. But also, that Luna, I don't know if they're running opening Gambit, they were super aggro though, and that paid off really well. They were just able to stick by ledges and kill everyone. It was incredible.
That Luna Blaster really did dominate that game, and I do need to applaud the amount of Ultra Stamp snipes we've seen so far. It is incredible. I don't believe I've seen as many Ultra Stamp snipes in one tournament.
It's the most Ultra Stamp snipes I've ever casted over. This is crazy. We had
Absolutely,
2 snipes maybe in this game, snipe on the Inkjet, that's just crazy.
That is actually incredible. But nothing can beat the feeling of sniping something out of midair, whether it be with a charger, a stringer, or, hey, with an Ultra Stamp, supposedly so.
You know what? I will say something funny. I saw someone in the chat say Drip Drop Die, the second coming of Pandemonium. Now, I don't know if you guys know Terminal Loss, but they were the team that had like 2 2600 XP players on that team. They were Season 1, Pandemonium was Season 3, and then Drip Drop Die was Season 5. All I'm saying, there's a pattern here. It's like every second season,
quite
it's a super cracked team.
Yeah. I remember Season 1. It truly brings me back.
Wow. Did you watch it or were you playing it?
I was Dead Rat Radio. We came last in this was when there were 3 brackets and not 2. We came
Sophomore,
last
junior.
in sophomore, yeah.
Oh. Did you ever play against Terminal Loss?
No, we played against Altruist, Too Late, and another team I don't remember. There were quite a few teams. Oh, I remember now. We played against Merry Musketeers. However, there is not time to dwell on that as we go into Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market. That is very interesting. On the side of Bland Decapitator, we see double Splatling, that Nautilus coming out. And on the side of Drip Drop Die, we also see another Nautilus, which I think was there as well, but I don't think that Gal was there before.
No, they had a Sploosh before. And the Dapples just change out the... Okay, they're really playing to just hold this point at this point, you know? With the splashdown, the wall, the slider. They do not want to give the point up. Wow.
They do have a lack of range on the side of Drip Drop Die, as Bland Decapitator is able to take this zone, making it already go down 10 ticks. The Dapples trying their best to stay alive as 2 members go down on the side of Bland Decapitator, make that 3, and they are able to cap the zone, and that Reef Slider gets cancelled. And a Booyah comes out on the side of Bland Decapitator. They are able to not quite flip the zone, but they are nearly there, being able to do so in those final moments. However, the playing field is still quite even.
Yeah, it looks like it's a really close game so far. That Hydra might cause them issues though because they have no range. Luna just gets 2 picks. That's a big issue. just Hydra being alone, if they rush him down to that Kraken, this might be bad for them.
And the Kraken
Can he get a
goes.
pick off?
The Kraken is not quite able to get a pick. However, Drop Dry is still able to take this lead. The Booyah coming out on the side of Bland Cavitaire, more or less going for the back of the zone, however, able to make it neutral. The Luna is able to get one. Sitting bottom left, there's another member on the side of Bland Cavitaire goes down.
Oh, holy crap. He tries to stand throw, doesn't quite get it. Don't forget, they still have a slider. Never mind, they only have a slider now. And they do pop the Booyah Bomb out early. This is pretty bad for them, though. Because early at this point, with a slider, they need to play pretty much perfectly if they want to stop this. 96 does go down.
Yeah, we see them go down to the Hydra. The Luna trying to get pick on that Nautilus, but not quite being able to do so, having to back off. However, despite that, Drip Drop Die has a massive lead on Bland Decapitator, and we see them try to retake this zone, which is now in neutral, and they are able to do so. The Luna was sharking bottom left this whole time, trying to get the pick on that Hydra, not quite being able to do so, being taken down by the Nautilus, who outlives the splashdown, however goes down. And we see here that Drip Drop Die is still able to keep the zone in their control and in their favor.
Yeah, okay, so it's looking like we're still holding it at the moment, but Dapples does go down for the bucket. They have no strikes. This is pretty bad for them. Oh, Dapples goes down as well.
We see the Dapples try we see the Kraken come in, trying to go for that Hydra, not quite being able to do so as a result of their Kraken running out. However, they are able to get that trade, and another trade goes down on the side of both of these teams. The Dapples trying to maintain in the zone, going down to the Crab. However, we're at the final 10 ticks. Bland Decapitator needs to change this zone now, and they're really close to being able to do so.
If that splashdown comes out from the Nautilus, this is really bad for them. Looks like they are able to cap the zone. With that splashdown ready, though, the Nautilus could easily kill a couple players.
Absolutely, yeah. We see Drip Drop Die able to retake the zone. However, with not many specials, a Kraken coming out on the side of Drip Drop Die, however, trying to go for that Hydra, and a Crab being popped in a very interesting position at bottom right. Not being able to get much value and being picked off by Drip Drop Die, as they are now awaiting their penalty to end so that we can get into the final 10 ticks of this game.
Okay, we're in the same scenario that we just had earlier when they were at 19 ticks, where they do have a slider ready. That bucket does get a nice pick off, but they lose strikes. This is really bad for them, folks. If they can slider here, it's over.
They are on the final ticks. A Booyah coming out on the side of Bland Cavitaire, but not being enough to cap the zone. The Reef Slider coming out, and oh my gosh, it is a one.
They might be able to cap here. To get the
they
Luna?
are able to cap. However, now the stakes are high. However, they are able to get a wipeout on the side of Bland Cavitaire, and all they need to do is keep this zone in their control. All they need to do is make sure that Bland Cavitaire can't get in, and they may be able to KO this game.
Oh wow, just wow. Honestly, that was a misplay from the Dapples, because they died in zone, so their def painted the zone, which was really unfortunate for them. But I don't know if they're going to be able to cap in time.
That wall at the end was really unfortunate. I feel like if the wall hadn't been there, the Nautilus might have been able to get some of that zone painted to try and go it to neutral. However, Drip Drop Die takes the set 2-1, and we now go into the final game. Will this be yet another 3-0, or will we see a 2-1? And will we see the Bland Cavitator learn from their mistakes in ship-shaped tower control? We shall see.
One way to find out.
There's only one way to find out. Might need to look up more animal puns whilst we wait.
Oh my god. Anyone want to hear a knock-knock joke?
Oh, please do. Entertain me.
I don't know any knock-knock jokes.
Oh, okay. Knock knock.
Crap. Who's there?
You.
Okay.
You're outside. You're outside. It's you.
I'm outside. Can I super jump inside of the house?
I was gonna make the joke of you going yoo-hoo, because it sounds like that greeting, and I would all have just gone hello.
Okay.
That was so unfunny.
Okay, I've got some animal jokes. Okay. What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down?
What happens?
It gets towed away. What did the duck say when he bought lipstick?
Back?
Put it on my bill. What did the staff team say when the commentators became so deranged they began saying animal jokes?
Say.
Get off the stream.
Okay.
As we go into game 3.
Did you just say meow in the Twitch chat?
Maybe. We see a Stringer and Hydra come out on the side of Valedictorian, and we see yet again a very aggro comp from the side of Drip Drop Die. Now with a heavy
You know what we
splattering.
don't see? We don't see an E leader.
Stop it.
We don't see an E leader.
Stop it.
We don't see an E leader.
Stop it. And we
Alright,
go
looks like-
in.
Into the game
One
3. Alright.
One member already goes down on the side of Drip Drop Die. Make that 2. But Cavitator were able to hold this mid. I don't think they have enough space yet to take the tower. However, they do so anyway. A crab being popped. The dualies dropping off the map, and now in the enemy court, trying to get paint to get that whale. However, they don't go down. They are able to pop that whale, and the checkpoint is already popped for Cavitator. 2 members already going down, with that Stringer being rushed as well. Already still being on that tower to try and continue to take points. However, getting picked, and another 2 members go down on the side of Cavitator. Drip Drop Die should be able to retake some of mid and begin getting their first share.
Now, I want to point out that Valedictorian does have
Ooh.
double backline with that Hydra and Stringer,
Ooh.
but Ship Shape
Ooh.
is a pretty weird map with really open sight lines, so this could benefit them really well.
Yeah. This
Red
is
does get marked
very
here.
interesting.
He might go down and lose a crab. This is a bit. Oh, that's bad. Bucket goes down.
They
Julius
don't
is trying to
go
poke him.
down.
He has the whale ready.
They do end up popping the
A nice
crab,
grab
however
off.
the crab does get cancelled, and another member goes down inside of Drip Drop Die. This is very different to the Bland Cavitator we saw for both of these games. They're able to hold their space amazingly. A bubble already being prepared on the side of Bland Cavitator for that push. That Hydra really keeping top right. However, they are beginning to be rushed by that gal, only to live. The dualies trying to get pick off of them and succeeding in doing so.
Whale ready. Looks like they're able to push in. Oh my god, he gets a huge pick on the crab. This is bad for them.
They are
Luna's gonna
able
go
to
down.
get a
The
second pick
Hydra
as
might go
well.
down. 4 might go down. No, it's just the bucket in the corner though. This is bad for them. All of them go down. This is a really big issue. This might be a knockout, to be honest. They have a Kraken ready.
Maybe, and the bucket
That goes
goes
down?
down to the gal. 3 members of this team going down to the gal as they go to Kraken. That Kraken coming in, getting 2,
That's free.
potentially getting 3. Yes, but
Oh, and
chopping off the
suicides. And this looks like this is gonna be the end of our game.
Unfortunately, once again, we go 3-0. Drip Drop Die taking the set in a clean sweep. And unfortunately, no E-liter, and I'm not sad about that whatsoever.
Then the E leader remain.
Nuh-uh.
Yum.
Nuh-uh.
So
Nuh-uh.
looks like
The set
Orca.
is over.
yeah, Project Orca versus
Oh.
Splatoon. 2-1.
Before-
Confetti. 2-0.
Mhm.
Was it?
Before we go on any break, I want to make the audience laugh. So,
Please,
Why
audience,
did
just
the
laugh. I don't want to be
we
here.
lose the baseball game. The bats flew away.
Okay.
I am very funny. The audience is
Let me read an
very
animal
much...
joke to you.
Okay, read an animal joke to me.
What sound do porcupines make when they kiss?
What?
Ouch.
Don't throw tomatoes at me. That's mean.
What?
However, now that the set is ended, we shall now be going on a break, and I promise you I will be back with more animal jokes in between the games. I promise.
It's-
You've not seen the last of me. Well, 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 look who's back. And guess what? I've got more. Before we go into these very interesting teams, one joke. Can a kangaroo jump higher than the Empire State Building? Of course. The Empire State Building can't jump. Very humorous, I know. And now we go into these teams. Ratatouille versus Holy Sponge. Very, very nice team tags. Actually, both look quite nice.
I gotta say, I do love these team banners. I do love Ratatouille. He's just
I actually subbed for Splatoon the other day. They are really nice. However,
really good.
I do have to say I haven't seen much of Holy Sponge, so I'm really interested to see what this turns out to be.
Yeah, I'm really curious too, to be honest. I think that we're gonna have a pretty interesting game. Holy Sponge versus Splatoon. Holy Sponge is seed 2, Splatoon is seed 4. I think this could be going either way for them.
And let's dive into the compositions that both teams may be running. On the side of Splatoon, unfortunately the first team with no E-liter. Actually, not the first team, but one of. However, we do see a Headit with Mini, some Dualies, an S-Blast, and a Wellstring with their 5th also running Dread, Octobrush, and Stamp. As you yourself love Stamper, I'm not surprised that you probably are quite fond of this composition.
Oh yeah. Okay, so personally, I think if we're gonna be building comps, Sword, S-Blast, Dualies, and Headit, that's probably the strongest comp they could come up with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised though if we see Wellstring Stamp with S-Blast and Dualies, or maybe we're gonna see something like Zuka Mini with Sword, Wellstring, and Dualies in Rainmaker. So, really excited to see this. Although I think we might actually be seeing a Brush or a Dreadringer, because I'm pretty sure Sticker Stamper is their least played weapon, if I'm correct on the way that we're basing these weapon choices.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Wellstring, especially considering they've been dominating these past games. I would not be surprised if we see another one with even more hammer snipes. From the way this is going, we could probably get a compilation of just the Ultra Stab snipes from this tournament alone, which is quite interesting. On the side of Holy Sponge, no E-liter. Very bad start, joking. However, we do see Reflux, which I find quite interesting. There was another team with Reflux on their roster. However, we haven't seen one yet. I would be quite intrigued to see a Reflux this tournament.
Oh. We're seeing another Headed again. We actually haven't seen any Headed so far, so I can't wait to see it. Maybe we see Dualies, Viper, and then looks like they're both one-tricks with Galugas and Reef, so this is going to be a really interesting comp to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested to see what Holy Sponge has cooking up inside of the sponge.
Yeah,
and I just realized there could potentially be
Newell.
a gag with Holy Sponge.
That is RNGesus, Gabe Newell, with a sponge.
No, because I mean, holy. You can also have the adjective holy of like having a bunch of holes. So I just realized this may not be the intention. However, that is a really funny revelation.
Unintentional, but it's smart.
However, we do begin to see the map modes for this set. We will be starting on Inkblot Tower Control, moving on to Barnacle Zones, and then followed up with Humpback Rain. I did not
the
stagger
worst
on that.
E-liter map coming from the E-liter vein. Also, we're gonna see Ratatouille versus Gabe Newell here. Let's see what happens.
And we see on the side of Splatoon this Dread. We see a Dread, we see a T-Tech, an S-Blast, and a Headit. And on the side of Holy Sponge, we do get to see that Reflux. So this should be really interesting.
Looks like there's no Galugas, just an Imperious Dually. They don't have much aggression on that side, to be honest. Just 2 crabs, and that's pretty much it. Reef is just gonna push in, just barely. The head's able to live. Maybe he throws the cooler out. Oh, but the cooler unfortunately is broken. That sucks a ton. They're gonna try and be aggressive on their bats, but oh wow, that's a huge pick on their bats. If they can just hold this is huge.
Ooh. The head is able to get to before going down to those dualies. The dualies trying to stay alive, however, going down to the dualies on the side of Splatatouille, not dualies, T-Tech, and they now use their strikes to just try and maintain the space as they go past checkpoint 2 on a very early push.
And just look at this aggression right here. They're just able to keep the pressure up entirely. Splatoon is not giving up. That S-Plus gets another pick and they lose their crowd. S-Plus is coming up on a Booyah Bomb. He's being aggressive. 2 players go down. It's currently a 3v2. I don't think they can stop it.
Oh, wow. That was unfortunate. That was a very, very quick push from Splatoon. Very, very fast, very hasty. Actually, insane. I think that was really interesting. We might be able to just see a very good upset from Splatoon. I just found an interesting joke for you viewers out there. What do you call a rat with a cold? Ratatouille.
Did you just say ratatouille?
I said ratatouille.
Sorry. My father just called me. That was really unfortunate.
You left me alone, and I've gone into rat jokes. And we will be seeing Barnacle zones next. I think Splatoon may keep that same comp, especially considering they do have those strikes as well. So we don't know what we'll see.
I agree. Hey, question here. Whose PFP do you like more? Do you like Gabe Newell as a sponge, or do you like Ratatouille more? Because I gotta say, I am curious where they got that.
Actually, it's Splatoon. Get it right.
Okay, well, the memes though, because that's the Gabe Newell meme, and then that is a Ratatouille plushie.
I will be so serious with you. I prefer the Splatoon profile picture. I won't even lie, I agree too. As much as Holy Sponge is really humorous, I love the deformed Remy in their profile, and I find that really funny.
Yay. Particle zones. Let's see what's coming up. This is definitely going to be a really hard challenge for Holy Sponge, just simply because the S-Blast is amazing at lockdowns. But zones does rely a lot on team coordination and solo mechs.
Yeah.
So let's just see how it goes.
Hey, did you hear about that skateboarding rat? He was totally radical, dude. Anyways, on the side of Splatoon, we do see it very similar. Well, and then on the side, on Holy Sponge, we do see those Glugas coming out as well. Very interesting to see.
Yeah, giving them some much-needed aggression right here.
Splatoon is able to maintain most of the zone, however, that does quickly get flipped by Holy Sponge. All members still remaining alive as Nettles tries to make a push, just sitting on the bottom right, trying to go in for that dread, getting that pick, trying to go for more. However, not quite being able to do so, but trying their best, going down to the S-Blast as 2 members go down on the side of Splatoon, followed up with 2 members going down on the side of Holy Sponge. However, they are able to maintain that zone. I feel like the Booyah was popped quite early, actually.
It was, yeah. They popped it to live. That's the thing. Now, I do love seeing this Glugas pick, especially with that wall. It's a great pick into everything in their comp, except for that head. He does get a pick on the hit cooler. That's huge. S-Blast is one-shot. He does Booyah to save himself. If he throws to their stack, he might be able to keep control there. He gets a huge pick on the Dreadbringer. They don't have a crab anymore.
Absolutely. Holy Sponge are able to take this down from 100 to 70 ticks really quickly. Only 30 left.
Wow.
Only having to just keep locking out Splatoon. However, the Dread and the S-Blast pushing together and are able to take the zone. Crab being popped on the right side of the map, trying to go for a pick. Not quite being able to do so as the Reflux is trying to just maintain in that zone, trying to maintain space, not quite being able to do so. A member going down on the side of Splatoon. Holy Sponge trying to retake what they have.
This plus does go down. That's a really good pick for them, actually.
We do see a headed 1v1.
Oh my god. And they waste strikes. This is really big for Holy Sponge. If they can get specials out, this is over.
The Glugers do go in for a booyah, trying to get a pick on that S-Blast, being able to get an assist in doing so, trying to now go for that Dread, being able to do so. 3 members going down on the side.
Oh.
Absolutely.
They do unfortunately flip it. Wow.
They do unfortunately flip it as a result of that T-Tech being left on the 10-2. However, Holy Sponge are able to recap the zone quite quickly. It's just a matter of Holy Sponge getting through that penalty. However, the header absolutely shreds those Glugers, trying to go for a second pick, popping that cooler in the zone to help assist their teammates. The crowd coming out as well. 3 members going down on the side of Holy Sponge. Possibly 4? Absolutely 4. And Splatoon are in the best position they could be to try and hold back and make sure Holy Sponge are unable to push any further.
Now, do keep in mind they just used all of their specials. That means they have pretty much nothing left here. 2 players go down on their team, no specials to recover. All they're going to try and do is jump in. They might not be able to hold for that Booyah Bomb though. Strikes come out, Booyahing their stack. Just being super aggro here, gets a pick on the head, no cooler. If he does to the S-Blast, this would be good for their team. But Splatoon is not able to hold.
3 members do go down on the side of Splatoon. The T-Tech trying their best to hold up on their area with those strikes and with that Splat Bomb, being unable to use their strikes until moments after, just trying to shred that crowd, being able to do so. As we see the Glugers being able to get a pick, will they be able to get more value? Yes, they will, being able to get 2, getting 3. Very interesting picks coming in from those Glugers. However, their Booyah is blocked by the wall. Though we are on our last ticks with Holy Sponge, 10 ticks left on the board. It's now or never for Splatoon. If they don't make a push now, they will be unable to cap that zone. And Splatoon loses to Holy Sponge. The first set that we've streamed going 1-1.
Holy crap.
We are now in the tiebreaker of round 3. Humpback Rainmaker. A very interesting map indeed.
Let's discuss. So I think we can definitely agree that the Glugos was a great pick right there.
Absolutely.
That is a
really well picked, yeah.
Wow. Makes you wonder why they picked Emperors in the first place. Curious.
Emperors. Yeah, Emperors are still quite nice to see. The Splashdown did hold a little bit of value. However, Barnacle was a little bit more open. Actually, no, it was a lot more closed off compared to
Closed off, yeah.
Inkblot Tower. Yeah, and we can really see the differences here.
I agree. So let's talk about Humpback really quickly. I think Splatoon does have the edge here with that S-Blast. It is great on this map, but headed is pretty bad here. So let's see if the teams are able to figure it out and maybe switch off.
Yeah.
Lugas can be pretty good here. It's just the fact that you're gonna have to deal with an S-Blast, which you basically just cannot fight at all. So it's gonna be really difficult to take fights on this map for Holy Sponge, and we're just gonna have to see if they can even hold the checkpoint.
And even then, Rainmaker is very different compared to Tower Control and Splat Zones. You need that coordination, otherwise your Rainmaker just gets picked, and the next thing you know, the team has been able to take the lead off of you. Especially in these maps like Humpback, they rely on getting a really heavily good push, and they just hold. It's more or less just trying to get a good push and locking that team out and being unable to make their own comeback push.
Yeah, both teams, they have really good AoE options on this map. We're going to see a bucket from Holy Sponge's side, and the S-Blast from Splatoon's side. So it really just depends. It's going to come out to if they pick Headed, and if they do pick Headed and they both play Headed, who is gonna just like play Headed to paint on?
But that does make me wonder, why were the Sponges so happy? They were all soaked up in the moment.
I'm gonna leave this call.
And we go into Humpback Rainmaker.
Okay. Let's see it.
A gal on the side of Splatoon. That is something I don't think we've seen yet.
Wow, Gal's really strong here too. This could be an issue.
Double
Wow.
dualies was not something I expected to see. However, Holy Sponge do definitely try and go in for that, not being able to do so, but two members already going down on the side. Will that Dread be able to get a third, or be able to get the last member of that team out? Yes, they
And
will.
he is.
And immediately Splattertui are able to just take this check, which is incredible.
It's
They're
kind
able
of
to
looking
win.
like this is a really dominant comp on Splatoon side with the 52 gal, the S Blast, and a Dread. This is super dominant, double AoE with a short range shooter. They can't even do anything with these dualies. Wow.
Three members do go down on the side of Splattertui, and Holy Sponge are able to take this Rainmaker, trying to get it to their check. Apologies, my noodle pot fell over. I had to pick it up. And now we are seeing Holy Sponge trying to hold on to this Rainmaker. Two members going down on the side of Holy Sponge, actually. One member going down on the side of Splattertui. And they're just able to really dominate this area.
So wait, you have one singular noodle, or like?
No, I have a pot of noodles, and I moved my hand and it fell over, but there's no time to dwell on that. As we see Splattertui trying to make another push, two members going down on the
Players do go down. They're still running it though. Oh my god! Wow.
Still running it. That was
They
incredible.
do have missiles and splashdown. This is great for them. They're just getting to watch out for that 52 gal dropping on the left side. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah, this is incredible. We see that splashdown just being held, potentially coming out soon. However, the Emperors do get picked, and two members on the side of Holy Sponge go down. Splattertui trying to retake that area, however, they are unable to get that Rainmaker as it reset. The dualies were able to go down, and they already have it popped with that cooler as well.
It looks like they're jumping in. They're trying to hold the checkpoint. They do pop a crab early, maybe get a pick on the Rainmaker. Two go down, three go down. They need to push this really hard.
Four go
Everyone's down on their team. They need to push right now. The Headed dies to a bomb. Oh my god.
Well, they do leave that Rainmaker on that top right. It might be interesting to see Splattertui take advantage of that and just try and run for that rain. However, Reef Slider goes out on the side of Holy Sponge, getting one and immediately being picked after, and we see the Rainmaker reset.
We're kind of stuck in the stagnating position because, as a general, Splattertui's team is incredibly dominant in the middle with their weapon comp, and what Holy Sponge needs to do right now is push it over to the checkpoint, because if they can fight in flat open areas, that's where they're going to be able to home the best. Looks like Headed is backed into a corner, but all players are dead.
See, all of the members of Holy Sponge do get picked, however, and Splattertui are back in the advantage as this time ticks down. Holy Sponge really needs to try and get a grip and just try and dominate here. But the two members do go down on the side of Holy Sponge, accompanied by Splattertui, the Rainmaker going down, potentially three going down on the side of Splattertui. And now again, it's in Holy Sponge's favor. They just need to get that good push.
Oh, looks like they popped the splashdown early. Can't get a pick. They do break the crab though. Let's see what's going on here.
Two members do go down on the side of Splattertui. And
to pick it up.
Resets. This is absolutely in their favor. Three members go down. All they need to do is try and get those picks. We see Alti sharking here, desperately trying to maintain this area, going in for some picks, not quite being able to do so. However, Splattertui are able to maintain this check. One member going down, that's a double from Alti, potentially a triple. That is a triple, and they grab the Rainmaker to take it away from their checkpoint.
Yeah, so it's a pretty close game so far, but so far all we've seen is just entirety of Splatoon gets wiped, and then Holy Sponge just lets them reset the Rainmaker, which pretty much just means that they can't make any progress because Splatoon is so dominant in the middle right now.
We do see Nettles getting that double, however, they do go down to Alti from that Rainmaker. They have put it in quite an interesting spot. The crab trying to target them, and they do not have the space to look from behind. However, they do get splashed down, and three members on the side of Holy Sponge do go down, accompanied by three on the side of Splattertui as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh.
10 seconds left. And all they need to do is have someone from Holy Sponge grab that rain, but from the position, they just won't be able to do so. Unless...
Wow. They can't. No.
And unfortunately, Splatoon takes the game 2-1. And
Quite unfortunate.
now,
What do you think the issue was? And
I
now,
think the issue was just the lack of paint on their side. Splatoon definitely had a lot more paint, and they were able to dominate that really well. It was crazy.
I agree.
And speaking of rats,
rough.
have you met the rat that doesn't want to tell anyone his name?
Oh.
He prefers to stay anonymous.
What?
Anonymous, like anonymous, but
Oh.
anonymous.
Okay, I got scared. Okay, so when I was looking at it, here's what I was thinking. I'm thinking that really good short-range weapons, and with the 52, the S-Blast, and the Dreadringer, they had a ton of AoE, which is great for the map, and short range, which is just super dominant, especially in mid, because that is the most curved area or sloped area on the entire map. Why did I just hear? Oh, it's like the most sloped area on the map. So the biggest flaw that Holy Sponge was running into was they were able to get the kills and they were able to outskill them. But then what happened was, instead of picking up the Rainmaker at any point or trying to like do some sort of flank to run it to a checkpoint, what they did was they just let the Rainmaker reset and then it staggered. But the thing is, the Rainmaker resetting just barely moved it anywhere, right? It was like what, 20 meters away from mid, so they reset it. It gives them time to recover, and then they have to fight in mid again to re-grab the Rainmaker, which means that Splatoon is able to reposition with all their short-range weapons and then just be super dominant. And then they just repeated the process over and over, unfortunately.
I would like to say, on updates from the rest of the bracket, Project Orca is currently 2-0 against Bland Decavitator, Splatoon, as we know, 2-1 Holy Sponge. And on the side of Drip Drop Die versus Inkfetti, Drip Drop Die went 2-1, now only having dropped one game this entire tournament so far, and Inkfetti is the only team to be able to do that to Drip Drop Die. This might be an interesting matchup to see in senior bracket that we could look out for.
I agree. Yeah, it looks like they went 2-1 Inkfetti. Our seed 6 versus our seed 1. And it looks like they won on Hump Track. Interesting. I mean, we're gonna have a really interesting game here. I do hope that when we transition over with our second set of casters, you guys get to see a really interesting grand finals.
Absolutely. And before we go for this break, I have one more pun for you. What do you call a happy sponge? Jolly Roger. I don't know how that works. It's actually not that funny.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that wasn't funny.
That makes
funny.
Nothing about this is funny.
That was not. That was like the worst one. I'm sorry.
Jolly Roger. Is Roger like
Stop
a sponge?
throwing tomatoes at me. I'm trying my best.
You're throwing tomatoes at you?
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
god, they
throwing
are.
tomatoes at me.
Are you okay? Wait.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Wait, what?
Are we live?
Oh, okay. Update from the voices inside of our heads. We are actually doing the cast swap after this quick break. So, Umbra, is there anywhere that people can find you?
My sendo.ink profile and my Discord at IOAWSOME, Iowasome. You can also see me chatting in the Stronghold. Sometimes I'm in the VCs as well, so you can come chat to me. I will say hi. What about you?
You guys can find me specifically on parameow.bluesky.social, because that's where I primarily post things. I post team stuff, I post art there. I do quite a few things there. However, I do want to say before we go, I want to have a quick, huge thanks to the stream team, to the team behind all of this. It's going to be done without you, and especially towards like the directors and coaches. They've all worked really hard, and I really hope you guys are able to see that, especially in these next sets.
Yeah, and we gotta thank you guys for.
Yeah, I was gonna say massive thanks to the stream team as well, because this actually couldn't be done without them, and they will continue doing. Okay, and thank you, Twitch mod, for throwing tomatoes at me.
And the YouTube captain.
Thank you for throwing tomatoes at me in Twitch chat.
Thanks for everyone coming on Twitch chat and YouTube chat for coming to watch us.
Yeah.
By the way, come sign up for SBA Season 6, please. We need people.
Please.
We want people, actually.
And please play Elisa.
Oh, be a DM if you need team coaching. I am relatively available for that. Okay, that was fun. See you guys.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're here with the Stronghold Beginners Academy Showcase Tournament Season 5. My name is Rose of Battle, and I am joined here with Remixed Fern. How are you doing?
I am good. I woke up way too late this morning.
Me too.
The set we have is, these two teams are both sort of essentially confirmed for top cut, I believe. Our other set in the last round of groups is a decider, but first we have Drip Drop Die versus Project Orca.
Yeah, Drip Drop Die been doing a really good job this tournament. They have won every set. They've lost only a single game. 8 out of 9 wins here going in. So they've been doing very, very well here.
And comp-wise, I think the first thing I'm thinking about is I don't really see a solid anchor option for this team. There's the occasional backline weapon, but it doesn't seem to be a main one. So my guess is that they're probably going for a backless sort of structure. Hopefully with Nautilus. I would love to be able to cast Nautilus.
Love Nautilus. Yeah, that, or I know a lot of teams will, maybe their anchor pick is that heavy edit Splatling, or maybe even the Jet Squelcher coming out from Timur, but that Jet Squelcher is such a different weapon compared to the rest of Timur's weapons that they play. It's just like we have a bunch of short range weapons, and then we have the Jet Squelcher. So it's like they have maybe a couple options, but they're not, say, a charger like you would typically think, oh, maybe something like the Snipe Rider or the Splat Charger, or an E-Leader's, especially E-Leader's gonna really be the anchor, the backline. But it looks like this team plays fairly aggressively. I don't know if perhaps Winrina is gonna, throw us for a loop and pull out that Kraken E-Leader. Also, this is not the first time I've seen somebody who's like, I play Carbon Roller and also E-Leader, and then I just stare at them and I'm like, my friend, those are wildly different weapons. How do you switch between them in your brain?
Yeah, there is an Octobrush, an E-Leader player that I know of, at a pretty decent level. I feel like if we go to Rainmaker, we might see from Timur the C-Chip, we might see the Tri-Slosher. Both of those weapons could be really strong. I think this team looks like they have a pretty solid support core. They have multiple options for support shooters, but yeah, just the backline structure, and we could see the E-Leader. We also could see the heavy edit. They could even run I don't know, they could surprise us perhaps, or they could just run a Nautilus backline core. But yeah, I'm expecting them to run it down, just looking at the first weapon everyone listed.
Yes, I think they're going to want to play really fast and aggressive. Just looking at a lot of especially, things like Sploosh, you have those Dapple Dualies, things that are really going to want to move fast and aggressive. A Carbon, Luna, might not be the fastest weapon in the game, but it is going to get into your face and kill you very quickly. And then over on Project Orca's side, they have lost one match so far. They currently have a map wins rate of 4 wins out of 9 total. They definitely have definitely a different sort of comp. We clearly see Liko here being an anchor player, having a lot of different options, from what we frequently see Snipe Riders being sort of the most common anchor pick, being able to provide a lot of cover for your team, provide a very important special in the form of the Tacticooler, while also I think that's going to benefit a lot of, you see the Tetra brush player going to want to play super fast and aggressive. We've got sitting on the Dapples, but even that cooler is going to really help out a Stamper. I wonder if we're going to see two teams play very aggressively, but Orca perhaps having more of that traditional backline support.
Yeah, this team definitely has more of a standard structure, but where they have a established backline and established support, they look like they have a really flexible frontline core. We could see them run a sort of dive comp with the Dapple and the Stamper and the Inkbrush, or they could go for a more like double like flexible weapon. They have a Dread, they have a Pro, so definitely a more standard structure. Like we'll see if that will be able to handle probably the amount of stuff that Drip Drop Die is going to throw at them. So I think we're heading into the first game. Yeah.
Starting out on Museum D'Alfonsino Clam Blitz. I do wonder if we're going to see an E-leader come out. You said that, Nautilus!
Yeah. Nautilus Backlane Core and a pretty heavy paint positive comp from Project Orca. 2 shooters against this like really aggro dive from Dripped Up Die. We'll see if they have enough paint for the carbon. But sort of posturing in mid right now. The Pro and Splash are just sort of getting paint in mid. Nautilus
it's gonna be very important. Like you said, that carbon's gonna need so much paint to be able to just threaten spaces a lot, even if they're not physically there. Just being able to put in like the psychological terror of a carbon could pop up at any moment. A really strong opening, I would say, especially from Project Orca here. Drip Drop Die still maintaining a fair number of clams. Either team here, as soon as they get the picks that they need and have specials to be able to move forward and break out of mid onto the enemy's platform, is going to really enable who gets to score first here.
Oh. We've had a DC.
Well, that was in the first minute. Nobody has scored yet, so...
A solid
well, we got a
minute
little
of neutral.
preview.
Yeah, we got a trailer for the set.
Yeah, so what are your
Solid.
thoughts on the Nautilus being there?
Yeah, like, I have a moderate amount of thoughts about Anchor Nautilus. I feel like it can sometimes struggle to accomplish things, especially into that, like, a longer range comp like you have on the side of Project Orca. Like, it's kind of the job you're doing if you're playing very Anchor, like, you're kind of not going to be able to compete with a pencil. But I think if they lean into, I want to see them like play more aggressive and like be setting up lanes for their teammates, because I think like if you have, the Nautilus is so much pressure that if that your anchor is also the machine gun pointing at you from mid range, like you can, like while Project Orca has a lot of, I would say definitely more special power and more like paint control and more range, they are a bit definitely weaker on their fighting power if this Nautilus gets more active. So that's what I'm hoping to see in as we play game 1 for real. But
going back to it for real, running it back. Traditionally, for myself, as somebody who is a Museum D'Alfonsino hater, because I don't play a long-range weapon, and my team has a very non-standard anchor pick of ours being a bow. This is not a strong map for whenever I tend to play on it, and typically that is against something like a Snipe Rider. If they set up, they can absolutely control the pace and tone of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, just thinking about the map, this map might be one of the best, if not the best, Nautilus map modes in the game, at least in my experience. So if the Nautilus can play fast, I think they can put out a ton of pressure. Now, we are loading back in, same comps of course. We'll see if anyone wants to make a sort of big play that we didn't see last time.
Now, last time we started in just sort of trying to get that paint down in mid. People are going to be coming in, of course, getting that paint down is going to be so vital for this carbon over for Marina. They're going to want to start picking up clams. We already have a lot of clams over in the hands of Project Orca. Missiles already going out. Strikes already going out. Really, really fast special usage here. The Tacticooler's already out for Drip Drop Die. Timber is going to get picked off there. That's going to open things up possibly for Project Orca, but they've also lost their Splasher. Drip Drop Die doing a good job of holding this space right here, guarding this power claim, making sure it is not going to get picked up. That's going to stop Project Orca for now.
Yeah. Now, that carbon does have a pick, but they're gonna struggle to walk up onto this stack on top mid. They do find a kill on Ed spot, so if they can clean up the slasher in mid, they should be able to move onto ramp. Opening with the Zuka now, it's gonna find a pick, and Drip Drop Die, despite the sort of bad start to the game, they are fully in control of the opponent's plat. They're gonna trade out for that,
They
but the
are.
Carbon should find this kill bottom left. No!
Oh, yeah, that was
And-
taken away from them. They are able to get one
Nope.
power clam in, but
Yeah.
everybody else is down. That is just going to be one power clam, one and done. It is absolutely opening up the field for Project Orca. You can already see all of that green already put down here. When Reyna, sharking a little bit, is able to see where that Snipe Rider is, does get that really quick pick on them, which can be really, really important. Challenging the other one. I love that they're taking that as a team. Always really, really important to learn, like, how can we actually turn a 1v1 into a 2v1.
Yeah. I don't think they see Win Renee. Yeah, that is a
Sneaky Carbon!
This Carbon has been breaking the game fully open for Drip Up Die. Off that pick, they have control of plat. They're gonna... This Zuka's gonna find one kill, maybe two. No. But it'll give Drip Up Die all the space they need to walk another basket on, and this slider is gigantic.
It didn't get a pick, but that was a great slider, just pushing them away, and it barely allowed Timur to live. It really opened up space for Drip Drop Die to get those clams in. Like you were saying earlier during our preview to this, and also when we loaded back in, they need to play fast because they know they're at a huge range disadvantage. You just gotta go full, send it, pedal to the metal, don't let up.
They've been pushed back into mid, so we're back into a sort of neutral state. Project Orca opening with strikes, but they're gonna lose their pro in the middle, and it's sort of still a stalemate. Venomous walking up right side with the Nautilus. They'll have Cooler. I want to see when Rena start to walk in with it, but they're gonna get picked. And that should be Project Orca taking control of plat. A shark from the Zap means that is not happening yet, as they find one, maybe two picks.
Oh.
Maybe three? Somehow, that was like...
They're still alive!
Yeah. Extremely successful shark. Like, Project Orca has really struggled to, like, walk back up into the face of all these players with... I don't know if the Zap has Ninja Squid, but... Project Orca is not really able to clean them up, even when they have picks in neutral. So... They're going to sit, Winarina is sitting below drop, and they're not really going to find the pick, but able to stop this push from the pro. And, I mean, I don't know what
really
Project Orca
aggressive.
can do.
Yeah, I think at this point you have to, take a deep breath and go, hey, I think we're getting too scared to move forward. But however, Project Orca does open the basket. They're able to get in one of the power claims. They have another ready. It looks like it's going to be very difficult to get that back in on time. They were able to throw in one smaller claim to bring this down to 77. They have less than a minute to go. At this point, Project Orca is not fully out of the game yet. You never know what's going to happen in Clamblitz. The most important thing here is they need to stay alive. They need to keep advantage of their turf. They need to get specials up and make sure they are controlling a lot of clams. There are a lot of clams on both sides of the field. Timur has been so aggressive this game, which you love to see on the Dapple Dualies, because Drip Drop Die keeps forcing their way in. Even if they don't get tons of points in, they're really just eating up time in the rest of this game. We only have 15 seconds left to go, Fern.
Yeah. The Nautilus in its favorite position, sitting around ramp, they're gonna like really struggle to walk back into it. Venomous does back up. I think these specials are early. I don't think they have the full chances they think they do to walk back in. Timur is just sitting up here and it does find the pick on that power clam, and yeah, I think this push is pretty much squashed. It is
so
probably
tough to
going to be a
break in
game
here.
one for Drip Drop Die. Unless they are able... Nah, the
Yeah.
power clam is already gone.
That overtime timer is just about to end, and that is a wipeout onto Project Orca. Drip Drop Die taking that first game. They played that really aggressively, which is exactly what you were saying you were hoping you were going to see from them based on the weapons.
Yeah. I don't even, like, a lot of the time I think the Nautilus can exert a lot of pressure to stop people from moving up, but that game it was kind of just the shocking players. Like, whenever Project Orca was finding chances back into neutral, but every single time they had specials in mid, they had paint control, either the Zap or the Carbon or like even the Dapple once or twice, just utterly shutting down all of the pushes. And it like the scoreline of that game is pretty close. 46 to 77. Like Drip Up Die was not having gigantic pushes, but they had such a chokehold on Project Orca's actual entry that they like were unable to that Project Orca wasn't really able, that it was a more dominant game than the scoreline would like really tell you.
Yeah, they have a lot of map control, which is really important.
Which is
Moving
kind of
on
an
into
accomplishment
game 2.
when you're fighting N-Splash Pro and Pencil, to be honest.
Right? Right? You have like a carbon on your team.
Yeah. So
I think they were just doing a really good job of. They were able to keep a lot of that map control, even though they had less paint coming out from their own weapons, because they were exerting such aggression, threatening spots, sharking, enabling them to get those really important picks, so that even though, you know, Project Orca on paper has way more paint, they should be able to have more of the turf in their color, but they were just stuck, unable to move forward to take that space.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
how
the
do you feel
sharking
about Mako Mart tower control? What do you think? What do you think either team here? I'm gonna say, throwing out to either side here. What do you think either team should be focusing on with perhaps the weapons that we saw them play?
I think you're feeling good if you're Project Orca, considering you have a double strike comp and a slosher on Mako Mart. And if you're playing quickly, then this should be a pretty handleable game for you. I think this probably is one of the weaker modes.
Yeah, it can be a tough one. I wonder if this Dapple player is going to stay on the Dapple's Nouveau. They absolutely could. It's, as somebody who plays Reef Slider a lot, I'm frequently like, well, this is only going to go so well on tower control specifically. All right, and starting out in our second game between Drip Drop Die and Project Orca, we actually have definitely a comp switch. Like I was saying with the Dapple Dualies, they've actually swapped over to the third kit, which has Killer Whale. Honestly, you know, a kit that I like to run on tower control as well, but they are going to get picked off really early here. Quick pick on them, as well as onto the end zap. Drip Drop Die already going down 2 to start out this first push. And heading on in, so far things have not been going too well for either team here. So struggle trying to get back into mid here. The Wave Breaker already being popped out from that heavy splatling that's been brought in. We see that Luna Blaster is here now, already moving on in. Drip Drop Die is at the first checkpoint.
Yeah, they're playing a bit of a slower opening, and they got picked a lot for it. But like they have managed to wrest back control and secure the tower. The strikes though is gonna force them off. We'll see if the pen can find a pick on anyone striking bottom right. And this Luna is finding a jump direct on the right flank. They're going to have control of the entirety of Project Orca's plat. And this should be a very secure push for Drip Up Die. They have this is a position you dream about on Mako Mart TC that this Luna Blaster is in. If they can find a pick on and I don't know how
really
you get out of this spot.
Position.
Your Orca. Yeah, it's there's nothing better you could ask for on this map. And the pen trying to wrap around right, maybe finding a pick on the tower, but I don't think they're going to have anything. Even if they find this kill, there's still kind of too many people. Oh, nope. With the strikes, they have managed to stop this push at 1.
They
And
have
that's
saved it.
Exactly the first push you want. if you're good at
Yes.
that.
The only thing better is to get a knockout, but
Yeah.
you can't be mad about going all the way to 1, especially on Mako Mart tower control. I don't actually see that many times that this ends in a knockout. Project Orca has to knock this out to win now. This Luna Blaster has been controlling so much space. This is a great stage for Luna Blaster, being able to challenge all of these ledges here from a safe distance. We saw earlier they chucked that Ultra Stamp absolutely taking somebody out. And when Rena, who was on the Carbon earlier, is now on Luna, absolutely just being a menace around every ledge.
Yeah. Luna, like, they opened up this game. They are going for the exact same flank. They've found another double. And again, Drift Off Die just off the back of Winrena's entry as us just kind of dominating the map right now. We'll see if they can find a pick on this 96 as well. It's gonna be bad. It looks like they'll be able to.
They are just challenging things. You know, even if they get picked off there, because Winrena was challenging forward so much and drawing the rest of the team away, it created so much space for Drift Off Die. They're taking this to the very end, ending it in a knockout in a really dominant game to win.
Yeah, it's an extremely dominant game win. If you're Project Orca, I think you just have to look at yourself and be like, well, we gotta do something about the Luna. There's not much else to say, honestly. You played your opening fine, like, you played your neutral fine, and, like, the Luna is just walking over you. So, this is play all 3, correct?
Yes, yeah, play all 3. So, you know, obviously, Drift Off Die is taking the set here, but Project Orca does have a chance to get a game win, which is important in a lot of these. You never know, you might win a tiebreaker for seeding, for deciding who's going into what bracket after groups. That can come down to your game wins. So it is really important to still win those game 3s and play all 3s. I've had so many people, even like people who are not beginners, people who've been playing comp for a really long time, be like, oh wait, like it's actually important that I win the game 3? And I'm like, yes, you should keep trying to win the game. Don't just give up after, don't be like, we won the match, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think in best of 3s, these game 3s can swing pretty often. Like, if you're the winning team, you kind of think, alright, we're good now, like, you maybe lock in a little bit less. But, I mean, they're coming up on this is probably the map where they could be expected to struggle more if they weren't supposed to struggle on Museum. Definitely a more, like, mid-long range favored map, especially once the water drops. But you have a Nautilus player, and this is a fantastic map to be a Nautilus on hold. And also a really strong Carbon map, I think, if they can.
It is, definitely.
On Indian Sharks. But I mean, after that game, I think maybe you say, let's stick on Luna, it clearly works. So.
This is definitely a map that I think it can both reward and punish you for playing hyper aggressively. You could wipe by everybody going in way too deep and getting taken out. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Project Orca can take advantage of any potential mistakes that come up from Drip Drop Die here. And we've got some, interesting.
Yeah, because this is a smaller zone, it is a splashdown capable zone. So they have gone over to Nautilus 79. The other team swapping to a slider, of course, it is Mahi zones. So I think that might give them the advantage on this opening, but the Zap and the Luna pushing up very quickly, finding a double kill, and that bomb is so unfortunate. So Drip Up Die finding 3 kills on opening, and Simmer walking up. This cooler might be able to get punished. But I think Drip Up Die is instead deciding just to hold mid, try to get the water to drop, and then play to counter probably the slider, which they're expecting.
There we go, get that slider.
Yeah.
Also took out that Luna.
Yeah. See, like, the slider on this map is really strong, but it's only really strong if you have the lead. And that is going to be the hard part, I think, for Project Orca, but they do have a...
Yeah, the thing about the sliders, too, one thing I love using slider on this map for splats. It's a small enough map that you can really punish people for funneling in together. It'll be really, really important if Project Orca's Dreadbringer can set up those aggressive sliders, not only to cap the zone, but also to get picks and Slider does come out, gets that pick, and keeps that zone painted in their favor. Project Orca now in the lead. We still have quite a ways to go. That triple splashdown is ready from the Nautilus, and here comes out, not onto zone, but does control some space over there. Drip Drop Die has the numbers advantage, getting 2 picks on Project Orca, capping that zone. Want to go in for a nice hold here, and they have plenty of map to ink. And moving on in, Project Orcus really trying to just break in here. That hammer, did you see that hammer?
Yeah, but the slider though, finding a pick even though it is going to get cancelled, and that is Project Orga sort of retaking the zone, another trade onto the Nautilus. But when Rena with the Luna Blaster, cleaning up the fight, although the Slusher is sort of sharking the right, they should be able to get punished, yeah. So that is going to be Drip Up Die, a bit of a scrappy sort of zone cap, but they do have some control of mid, it seems. Drip Up Die trying to walk back in. This Squeezer not finding that window with the splashdown, and a really good slider to clean up the mid, the fight in mid for Project Orca.
Project Orca still in the lead here. They're going through their penalty points. They do lose their Snipe Rider, and they have only a couple more penalty points to go. They're able to recap that zone. If they can keep it going, it's about to go neutral. Could even flip over to Drip Drop Die. That slider coming in there, helping get some assists there. Balooey, what a name. Keeping things painted. It is going back and forth a lot in this game. Only an actual 2-point difference here could increase to an even larger difference here. Balooey not playing a weapon great for taking that space here, but is able to keep 2 members of Project Orca at bay long enough for Drip Drop Die to get the lead. They are still holding it. They're in a really good spot to turn this into a 3-0.
Yeah, I actually really like that play from Balooey. He knows he has to do something about the slider before they can just sort of swoop in and cap zone again. And they were able to clean that fight up really easily. So now they have the slider for zone, but everywhere else is under the control. And the counter slider from Timmer keeps the map firmly in the control of Drip Up Die. And this is where you want to be against the slider comp. Even if they get stuff out on you, they do not have the lead. They can't like just stall out until the game ends. So this hammer throw, not finding a pick, and in fact 2 will go down for Drip Up Die, but this...
Oh my gosh,
the 2 on right,
the splashdown
should be able to clean them up. So,
yeah,
a dodge to the slider, and that slider really not finding much value. It'll only sort of delay the death of the Project Orca players. And so Drip Up Die, even though they've had a lot of specialists thrown at them, still in control.
And that is how they do it. They take it to that 3-0, able to hold on to Maki for the rest of that game, getting to a knockout. Wow, yeah, the slider v slider is always my favorite thing to see in any mode. We see it most often on splat zones just because the massive bit of explosion from the slider coming out. I love when I have slider ready and then I hear somebody else do a slider. It's just like the dopamine just like rushes to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna slide at them now.
Yeah, there was a slider versus splashdown interaction on left in one of those fights. There is a small gap where if the splashdown is descending as the slider blows up, you do kill the slider and you don't die, but that did not happen. It's and that's most of the time the slider is just going to sort of explode every aspect of the splashdown. So a pretty convincing series, I would say, for Drip Up Die. They were playing fast, like they were playing aggressive the whole time. They were using their sharking power really well, and like honestly, slider comps on Manta are hard to win against at higher levels. So a really good like closing game for Drip Up Die. And with that 3-0, they will be heading into top 4 as our first seed in the upper bracket, up against Blaine's Decapitator.
Yeah, moving forward for these teams. Drip Drop Die, Inkfetti, Project Orca, and Bland Decapitator are moving on to the senior bracket, while Splatatouille and Holy Sponge will be moving into the sophomore bracket. And I believe we're going to be seeing Inkfetti, and we'll be welcoming Project Orca back to the stage. Anything that you would like to see Project Orca do a little bit differently? I think we got to see really in that last game we just saw, Project Orca was making some good plays.
Yeah, I think I want them to use their specials like a little bit less all at once. I think especially in the first game or two, they were kind of like dumping specials on retake and sort of on entry to try to get things done. And I feel like you have relatively good fighting weapons in your pro and slusher and the other weapons they're running, and they can sort of do things without like missiles and booyah strikes. So I want to see them like use the specials like secondarily to what they can do main weapon wise. But we'll see. And I think before we head to our semi-final match, we will be moving on to a short break for our players to get into their rooms. So we'll be back on in a few.
And welcome back. We were talking about what we're hoping to see coming up in the semifinals for the senior bracket of Stronghold Beginners Academy Season 5. This is going to be between Inkfetti, Project Orca, who we just saw on stream. So what are we thinking about Inkfetti?
Inkfetti. I think if we can pull up their weapons,
I know that in the Swiss stages, in group stages, they did go 3-0 over Project Orca.
I will say I would be terrified to play Explo Stamper Decav Splash. I don't not particularly a like a meta core, but I think the weapons I'm seeing here are very synergistic. You have a lot of chip damage. Even if you're running something like the slusher, the machine, the rapid, a lot of burst bombs. I also have a cooler option here there with the zap and the winter rapid. But if we just see them run that Explo Decap Stamper, or the Carbon of the Splash Core, that is a lot of like in-your-face fighting power, I think, for Project Orca to deal with.
Yeah, Inkfetti has been playing very, very well. The only set they lost was to Drip Drop Die, who we also just saw in the previous game here. But it was a close one. It was a 1-2. It was a 1-2 loss for Inkfetti. They've been playing very, very well. Otherwise, they won all of their games up to that point. Of course, 3 of those being against Project Orca. Yeah, man, the Explo. I wonder if we will see that Splashdown Explo coming up, especially on Splat zones. And it's really just a great special for being able to defend itself. If somebody runs at the Explo has a tool that you can just go, okay, well, I can punish you for running at me if you don't manage your space correctly.
Yeah, this Expo kit is going to be very hard to push down, especially when you have a decab and a crab in front of you, also causing problems. And I worry a bit for Project Orca, especially since they're playing very like special focused. If they have an Expo sort of walking into them the whole game, with like behind.
I will say it is possible. If Project Orca is sticking on the Snipe Rider from earlier, so long as the Snipe Rider is able to stay alive and get in some good chip damage and control some space, they can fire shots a lot faster than Explo can. They do have a faster time to kill than the Explo does if the Explo is taking a fight on its own. But of course, this is a team game. It's a 4v4. I think there are many tools in both teams' pockets that they can use. And it's really going to depend on how are we timing these to work together.
Yeah, I think the pencil definitely does have a good matchup into the Explo.
But the pencil could get run down as well. We'll be starting on Robo Ramen Zones. And we saw that Project Orca in the previous match does have a fair amount of paint to their disposal, at their disposal. But I still think also that the paint output from Inkfetti is not going to be bad at all.
Microphone? Hello? Okay.
Yes, go on.
My microphone is having a day.
It is fighting you.
And really, every single minute. Okay, so this is instead of the Expo, they're going with the Wellstring, and Project Orca has subbed Cutoffs in to play Paintbrush. So a different look from their previous games. A lot of AoE for Project Orca. They're going to be sort of just posturing in mid, the Slosh playing on the left wall, and the Paintbrush is walking in. I don't know that they're going to find any picks, no actually traded by the decav, but that is a lot of space taken in the moment for Project Orca. We'll see if this decav can make a play. I think they're going for the Slusher.
Oh my god,
climactic 1v1 here.
Back and forth.
And Cine on the Slush able
does
to
emerge.
find the pick. This strike should get Orca control of the zone. Oh, and a double kill, I think, on jumps that were coming in. And a triple on that stamp that somehow did not kill them beforehand.
That's not a bad
play
trade in that situation.
Yeah, pretty good trade, I would say, for Project Orca. And now you have this Paintbrush set up, watching those ledges. Not a great spot to be in. And it seems like they've rebounded from their last game.
They're playing much faster and more forward. I really, really like seeing this. And like you said, they're playing a more AoE comp, which Pencil absolutely still can play into very, very well. It being, not a one-shot charger. It's going to take a couple shots here, so it can even get in one shot, and then the rest of the team clean up, or vice versa. That Snipe Rider is forced to back out at this point. Inkfetti taking control of that zone, pushing forward onto this ramp, moving forward. Solstice does have the decav. Obviously, it can't quite shark because it is marked, but is able to stay alive here. The Dread sliding and getting a pick, and not able to cap the zone, but Project Orca is going to lose the lead there.
Yeah, Inkfetti taking the lead. Let's see if this Dabbles can find picks in mid. They have a Pencil very weak to the right, but they're going to turn around and look for the decav. I think Slider is a bit wasted. There's the Paintbrush was already dead, but it'll give them the pain they need to send this decav up onto plat. Solstice is probably going to kill this jump, and then there's one on wall that also jumped out just in time. So Solstice now very close to the bubble. They're going to be walking about to hold, probably trying to set that up early. And Cine, with Cine already dying on bottom right, this is a very strong hold for Inkbuddy.
Here comes the slider. It's really great slider going through that bubble, punishing it, taking out that sword. The dapples are also down on Inkbuddy. Project Orca moving in. That time remaining, the ticks remaining down, still counting in Inkbuddy's favor. They are still recapping the zone. It goes neutral, but it does not flip. Multiple times here. We are down to 15 units remaining for Inkbuddy to score. They're having a really, really strong hold. Project Orca's done a lot to get in. It looks like they might be able to cap the zone just in time, making sure that this does not end just yet, and the sliders are coming out from both sides.
Yeah. That trade on the paint burst there was actually pretty crucial in keeping the zone for a few more seconds. But now, we'll see if this Dapple Shark can get value, but I think they've been seen as striked out, and it will probably just be Inkbuddy having to go for another retake option, but Kuriyimi finding a pick, and with the distraction they provided, they have taken the zone back for Inkbuddy. This slider might be, this slider's finding a pick. Kuriyami just kind of causing a lot of problems here for Project Orca.
Doing
in
dapple
the
things.
Yeah, dapple things. But like their team as a whole is, it seems to be like trading the neutral pretty well, and they do have zone control even if they aren't pushed up very far.
Yeah, things are strongly in Inkbuddy's favor right now. Running down Cine yet again. Project Orca is just doing everything they can to not lose all of the players. That dread, or that slider coming out from the Dapple. You said this Dapple's player has been so aggressive. They've been playing really far forward, but it's been eating up a lot of space and time. Project Orca has to get through. They have no time remaining, really. They're able to neutralize. They're coming out with that slide. No, it didn't cap! It didn't cap!
The slider.
It's still in neutral.
Like, stuck by the middle. Let's see. Even the strikes do finally manage to cap the zone, but only barely. And Inkbuddy, still fighting in neutral here. It is an even match. And with Sencats dying, like Solstice up here on the decap, like it is a very dominant position for Inkbuddy. Big cutoffs able to find 2 kills in that disadvantaged state, but that hammer, and they only have like 10 more seconds on the zone. We'll see if this slider can find advantage, but they've moved away from the zone and it's still able to be capped. But even if you're Project or like Inkbuddy here, you're not worried. Like you have 2 seconds left, your score is 1. So if you can find any kills in neutral here, the zone is already mostly capped, and with this bubble, which I could pretty easily see it going the way of Inkbuddy. And yeah, that is going to be a pretty solid first game for Inkbuddy in our semifinals.
Inkbuddy playing very aggressive there. Great use of that big bubbler from the decav, holding space on that zone. Also puts down some paint in their color onto that zone when they drop it. And then just being able to hold that in neutral for a little bit longer. Make sure your Ultra Stand player gets to come out and get some more paint on the ground every time they slam the hammer down, and also forces the other team not to come in. And honestly, Inkbuddy, really, we saw from a lot of the players there, they played forward and they played aggressive. And Project Orca actually played a lot more aggressively than we saw in the previous match, which I really like to see. I think they just had a very hard time maintaining that control. They were able to hold it for periods of time, but not for a long, sustained push.
Yeah, it was... They definitely had a really good opening. Like, they looked better than they did in the previous set, but, like, I think that was just kind of like Kuriyimi and Solstice show. Like, the decav and the dapple were so successful in Project Orca's backlines, and they did not get a chance to, I think, play their game as much as they wanted to after that. Like, they were slidering, like, they had their strikes, they had their sliders, but, like, they weren't able to, like, set up any really conclusive team fights for themselves. And Inkbuddy, just having like the scrappier comp, I think, was able to like come out on top in all those sort of unclear, like not full team fights.
Yeah. You know, winning 1v1s is important. It's also really important to turn those 1v1s into team fights, which Very important on this next one coming up, Hagglefish Tower Control. We do have a crab gonna come out from Project Orca on the other Dreadringer kit.
Yeah.
We still have the paintbrush over on
Yeah.
Project Orca, which I like to see. That's
Yeah,
a fun
Curry-
weapon.
Yeah, Curry and Miri swapping from the Dapples to the Slider, Crab Dread. Hoping to find, maybe like a crab from Grates, or not Grates, from Glass. Solstice on Decaf looking to just sort of find an opening in mid here, but it's actually going to be Cuddle-Offs finding the first pick on the left side of the map. Although Solstice looking for one is going to find a trade, and it is a +1 situation for Cuddle-Offs, who might be able to get a kill here with this angle at Decaf, and actually is going to get traded. Curry and Miri crabbing but not finding too much value from it, and Solstice with this really aggressive bubble, like, should be able to secure a tower path for the thing. That was a nice flick.
It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. A little bit messy here. They are down 1 and Cuddle-Offs is on this left position. This Kraken is going to push Inkfetti off the tower, but they're still sort of in control of it. But Project Orca finding the picks now, walking 2 players up into court, and with near to his strikes right now, and the Wavebreaker already out, they should be able to take more space.
Cinny grabbing that soda before going in. They're going to strike to make sure that Project Orca clears this first checkpoint here. They're still going in.
Yes.
Inkfetti's Solstice, though, this decab has been coming in clutch.
A little overzealous with that push onto stairs, but still, that was a very nice triple to clear the push from Project Orca, and we are back into neutral. Curry and Miri getting picked on bottom left, and Cuddle-Offs finding a double, maybe finding a triple on bottom left if they can bait this decabinet thing. It's pushing
Getting
them.
close.
Yeah. Even if they didn't have that kill, like, it is stalling out the decav. I think the rest of Project Orca wasn't pushing up to clean up that kill, but now they found a pick on the Slosher, and with this Kraken they should be able to get a few more picks and start walking tower over to the right side. Even though they have all these kills in mid, they haven't pushed tower very far.
Oh, but somebody's going to have to run back to that tower now. That crab was able to get the very important pick on the player that was on the towers. That is not even going to clear that first checkpoint here. That's still sitting there at a 64. The Wellstring gonna go down over on Inkfetti's side. They do have that cooler out and ready for their other teammates on Inkfetti. That is thrown out. They're gonna start playing very aggressively, I think, once we see them get into position. I really like what City's doing here, taking a nice flank here over on the side. Has drawn a lot of attention their way. I hope the rest of the team is gonna move in on that, move through mid. They're hopping on the tower now, moving it forward. We really want to see a team clear this first checkpoint soon. We don't have that much time left this game. We are over halfway through, less than 2 minutes left to go. Solstice coming from behind, getting that pick. They can hop onto tower again. It is still, I feel like, anybody's game because not many points have been scored.
Yeah, I mean, Orca has they can have all the map control in the world, but they have not been able to stop Solstice. Even still, like, Inkfetti, every time they have this push up, they have not been able to find crucial kills, but this bubble might, if Solstice can live, that bubble might have been a big part of them getting a bit more control. They will find a pick on the 96. If this Slusher goes down, oh, it's a panic strikes that they're going to die for. And so, with 3 down, like, it's all up to Cuddle-Offs. They have found a kill or 2, but that is the lead, swapping over to Inkfetti off the back of Solstice's bubble push. And now Z-Bunny on Wellstring pushing it to 41, with Solstice finding another trade onto the pen. So really big trade to get going into these last few minutes. Project Orca not gonna have cooler, and if they can find a kill onto any of these players, it could start to go very well for them. Not cracking in, trying to find a pick or 2, but it's gonna end before they can get anything. And Solstice behind them again, stopping this tower from moving forward.
Solstice been playing so aggressively here. They do have, they're the last player on that team to get that cooler just in time before it despawned here. That bubble is ready. No, taken out now. There are 15 seconds left to go. Project Orca needs to clear the first checkpoint, but first they need to get themselves on the tower. Cuddleoffs is going to be the person to do so, but people are, look at them. 3 whole people on the team from Inkfetti able to take out the paintbrush. They are moving it forward. The bubble being popped out. Project Orca not able to get their feet onto that tower. They were not able to clear the first check, and that is going to go to Inkfetti.
Yeah, extremely scrappy, extremely close game, but I think only close because of the absolute legwork that Solstice was doing on retake to prevent the tower from ever moving very far. Just like really strong, like pushes into mid. Like, I say what you will about Decav, that was a very good game. And now 2-0 up, and I think that you are looking at a pretty rough situation for Project Orca. In their previous set, in previous sets they have lost on RM Humpback in the third round of Swiss, so I don't know if this is the map they want to see going into what will need to be for them the first game ever for sweep.
True. Not only do they need to win the next 3 games to win this match, they first need to win this one. Rainmaker Humpback. We did see them pull out some AoE weapons on Robo Ramen that I think could serve them very well on this particular stage. But again, it's going to be all about how do we use our tools that we have with these weapons in terms of the main weapon, the subs, and the specials. How do we use the tools that we have in the best way to put ourselves in an advantageous position? And whenever we are in an advantage state, we need to move in quickly, because Humpback is absolutely a stage that rewards being aggressive and holding forward.
Yeah, and before Humpback, just looking at the other side of the bracket, Drip Drop Die with a swift 3-0 over Blaine Decapitator. So after this set, we will move straight into Grands with either Inkfetti, what currently looks like Inkfetti, versus a Drip Drop Die. So I think in a moment we will be heading into a game 3. I think this is a map you are happy about seeing if you are Solstice on Decav. Your bubble is going to get a lot of value. You have a lot of sort of curves in mid to play around. But Project Orca, who has been playing really heavy Slosher comps, could have a shot here.
Solstice has swapped over to the S Blast from Inkfetti. Okay, yeah. Interesting. We do, Paintbrush still in Cuddleoff's hands. Sunny having that Slosher. Nautiloid now having the decab, but that is the decab with Inkjet.
Yeah, I mean, this is also a map you want to see for Cuddleoffs, and they will find an opening trade. Nautiloid to clean up, and it is a 2v2 in mid. Just the backline cores. Z-Bunny trying to zone out anyone else from walking in at them, but Cuddleoffs on the left side, going to get punished for that push. And with a few more cleanup kills, it is going to be, it seems, Project Inkfetti walking the Rainmaker to a pretty rough first check. But they have kills now, they have popped the Rainmaker, and if they can get with a very nice hammer throw and a slider onto Cuddleoffs, Kura Yamiri with a big double kill, and this is a dream game for Inkfetti. Well,
that was perfect.
That was a quick one.
Oh my gosh, I saw that hammer throw come out, pick off, think it was Cuddleoffs, and then the immediate follow-up from the slider sliding in, even getting a pick. I think it got 1 pick, and then did a 70 damage on the outer radius to another person. Just clean up, wipe out. Absolutely. It rewards playing forward, playing aggressive.
I mean, yeah. A big slider from Kuriyamiri as well. finding another double off that. And even though they had, I would say, a pretty annoying weapon comp for Humpback, Project Orca just not able to sort of sync up for those like fast pushes.
Yeah, we were in sort of a neutral position to start for a little bit from both these teams in that 2v2 situation after that initial pop of the Rainmaker shield. It was just sort of a waiting to see, okay, who's going to emerge out of this in an advantageous state. And we had the cooler come out for Inkfetti. They immediately had people jumping in, grabbing a Tacticooler once they jumped in, moving forward, and I think some of the special usage was not placed or used in the appropriate places or times for Project Orca. But, you know, we're all learning here. We're all learning here, and they put up a good show.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, some of those games, like, they were definitely pretty close. Like, it wasn't big swings for Inkfetti. Like, they were winning very scrappy matches. But still, I mean, Inkfetti looking very strong, moving into our grand finals versus Drift Opti, another team that has kind of been cruising, as we've seen them on stream. So, this should be a pretty aggressive grand finals. I think both of these teams favoring the sort of run-it-down play style. Although Drift Opti has a bit more, like, they have the heavy splatling in the Nautilus, so they might have the range advantage over Inkfetti, which is playing primarily Wellstring.
That is a good point to look at. We'll have to see how they want to set up the rest of the team and themselves on either Nautilus, whether that be the silver or the gold Nautilus, whether we want to use Inkstorm or the triple splashdown. We saw both teams. They move fast, they move aggressive, they like to hold forward. This is definitely going to be a scrappy finals match we're going to see in this best of 5. And we are starting on Mahi Mahi Resort Splat Zone, which we did see earlier. Now we're back here. It's a stage that is so fun to watch when both teams are scrappy.
Yeah. I expect we will see that Nautilus 79 again, and both of these teams have slider options. Although not like Dread Ringer level slider options, but both of these teams have dapples. We've seen them in both their most recent sets. So I expect we will see some sliders on this mode. But I don't know, it's a pretty even. I don't think it's the best Wellstring map in the world, also not a very strong Carbon map. So honestly, I'm not sure how this one's gonna go. Both of these teams, I would say, Drift Up Die looked very, very convincing on this map mode last time they played it. So I don't know. I'll put some chips on them maybe for this mode, but it definitely could go either way.
It could, yeah. There are some. The drop can be a really fun place to position as Carbon, to be able to hold certain places on Mahi Mahi Resort. And we do have that splashdown ready from the Explo, which could be used onto the zone for Mahi. But I think, you know, like you were saying earlier, with both teams having reef sliders that are less put giant explosion of paint on the ground, because you do have to run a lot of special power up for that. You know, if we're having weapons that are probably not a Dread Ringer, if we're running things like dapples, that's not going to be the gear ability you're putting a ton of chunks on into when you're playing dapples generally.
Yeah, no.
So I think we're going to see like aggressive sliders. They're being used to put down a lot of damage on the opponent, as opposed to just I put big paint on ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't think they'll be running slider cheese builds, but it is still Mahi zones. So
it's a great slider map.
It is a fantastic slider map. So
it's so fun.
We should, I imagine, still see 1-2 or more. Over the next few maps in this series, Again, Museum Clams, very strong Nautilus map. Undertow Rain, a very aggro map, I think could probably go either way. So if this is a short set, I think like all of these maps could play very fast.
And both these teams, it seems like from what we've watched on stream so far, like to play fast.
Yeah. So I think
Both
we are.
teams are readying up, so we should be heading in any second now.
Yeah. We are loading into game 1. Mahi Resort Zones. So
Let's
seeing
see.
options just come out. It is the Luna Blaster again, but this time with a 96, a full fighting comp for Dripped Up Die. Inkfetti opting for Solstice's S-Blast, and a very slidery Dreadringer. So
Yes, they've got that special power up. A main of it, I would not be surprised if they have a bunch of subs of it as well that we can't see.
Yeah.
A lot of paint coming out from Inkfetti at first. It's going to go back and forth for a bit. The Luna getting taken out, the S-Blast being taken out, the Slider coming in, a great pick there. Jumping out with the ease of that Tacticooler, making a quick jump out, and they were already back in super fast. That's a strong opening from Inkfetti.
Yeah. Kuriamiri also scaling up onto plat and finding another pick. So Inkfetti with a lot of control of mid so far. They're gonna get pushed back by this Kraken, but they still have Solstice on the right side to watch for any drops. Solstice does get picked here, and off the back of a pretty strong Kraken push, it is going to be Dripped Up Die taking the zone back. But Kuriamiri fall off onto the Luna Blaster. There's going to be the slider to counter the splashdown, but they are going to get punished for it. And off of just some pretty strong crossfire with the Nautilus, Dripped Up Die holding onto the zone still.
That is going to switch into their favor. They do lose their 96 gal, still holding space here. Solstice getting a fantastic pick. They do already have eyes over on that sneaky player there. Putting in that Reef Slide, able to cap the zone from that Dapple Dooley's Nouveau. They're still alive. We're gonna go down in a trade though. That is a 3v3 right now. The Slider gonna come out from the Dread. Not able to get a pick. It is countered by the splashdown from that Nautilus, who gets another pick right there. This is still solidly points-wise in Drip Drop Die's favor. Z-Bunny on the well string, trying to figure out where the other members of Drip Drop Die are. Start marking them, start zoning out some space on this well string, but they are really just stuck on their plat right now. They're able to pick that Nautilus though.
Yeah, also Solstice finding another kill. Almost getting the flick onto Timur, but it is just going to be Dripped Up by holding on the zone. They have a really low penalty and a slider to counter any cap attempts. So kind of playing back on this hold here. Inkfetti able to walk back in, but again, if they can slider for this Booyah, they're gonna slider actually to counter the walking on right. Timur finding 2 kills off of that, and Solstice just overwhelmed, unable to handle anything, the pressure from Dripped Up Die. And even though it was a bit scrappy at the start of that, they firmly kept control of zone.
They did. Also able to punish one of those jump-ins coming in from Kura Yamiri. But the Zap, really, really important pick here. That Luna is going to go down. They're going to need to get themselves onto that zone really quickly. Yes. This Nautilus doing a fantastic job of holding the members of Inkfetti at bay. A slider coming out. This is still in Drip Drop Die's favor. They're getting picks. They're holding the space. Inkfetti, though, is still not out. This could be a pick coming out. The Booyah able to force people away. Solstice getting that really great cleanup. But all alone here on right, it looks like. And that splashdown. That's going to take him out.
That was a big splashdown, yeah. It's been a very good game for Venomous. Now trying to set back up a center of the plat. That hammer throw, not finding a pick. And with a very low penalty, no penalty, this is the spot you want to be in for Dripped Up Die. I don't know if anyone else can walk back on his own, and yeah, I think all of these games are going to be scrappy, but a fighty first game, Dripped Up Die just having a stronger structure to resist those retakes.
Venomous we saw a lot of Venomous's, great handling of the Nautilus here, both with the main weapon and, of course, with the special of that triple splashdown.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those were good splashdowns. It is a pretty solid splashdown map. There was a weird interaction on right where they dodged Slider with the splashdown. I think they, the splashdown got them high enough to be behind that, hanging thing, maybe? It was kind of hard to tell.
Oh, could be.
In the replay screen. But yeah.
The interactions between triple splashdown and reef slider are always so weird. 'Cause I do have to use slider sometimes to be like, please let me get this Explo who just triggered the triple splashdown. Yeah. And in my experience, I more often lose that interaction.
See, I feel like most of the time the splashdown just dies, but weird stuff does happen.
Sometimes neither of us dies, and we're just like,
Yeah, there's iframes on both sides. So, on to map 2. As I've said before, this is a extremely good Nautilus map mode. Or at least I tend to favor it in my own games. And I think I would look at Drip Top Die here, especially after how strong they looked in that first game. And how strong they looked in groups on this stage. If they can get their sharking weapons in neutral, they should have they have a really good shot at going up 2 on this series. But Infetti, I think this could also be a good. I kind of want to see them swap Solstice back to Decaf. I think he could be good at. They could be good at pushing back into ramp. So,
that bubble
relatively
could be really important.
Yeah.
On
this is
claims for objective as well, or even not right by the basket, but getting onto the opponent's platform to get the rest of the team in to go in and take a fight and clear it.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are loading into game 2. Museum clams.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Museum Clam Blitz going on. Okay, we had a DC,
wait, we
we are
can't see the game.
remaking. Never mind, we're just gonna stay on the screen for a moment while we go back and run it through again. So, none of us, it's gonna be a mystery for those of us watching here, being like, what are they gonna play? We don't know yet. Players going back in. They're going to be readying up, hopefully, very quickly to get us back into our game 2.
Yeah.
You know what? Do you think... I feel like this is less common on Clam, specifically for Museum, but do you think either team is going to do that drop from their right side out of spawn?
We haven't really been seeing it that much. But
Yeah,
I can
it's not
it's
amazing for clams, but
yeah, maybe because teams tend to play pretty on plat at the start of these matches, I think. So you end up facing a bunch of people. But I feel like you could see Solstice or Timur going for it. We're swapping. We're staying on this very fighty comp.
yeah.
Which I think might struggle into the what is a bit more structured one on Inkfetti. But I mean, it worked last time. So if they can find the openings they were finding, both teams playing a pretty reserved opening. Timur looking to sort of walk up right side. I think when Rena, getting punished by Solstice, walk up, and Solstice I think is gonna go for this. Maybe gonna think about going for that mid jump, but instead, just gonna play to avoid this Kraken. They actually did go for the jump. Going to get a trade for it, but that deserts your ball in a pretty bad spot. And even if Inkfetti manages to find this push, they have lost those early clams.
Inkfetti at this point, though, does have a strong hold on mid. Timur is dropping down to try to break in. The rain came out with the slider, able to get a fantastic 2-piece turn into a 3-piece.
Yeah.
Even though they went down on there, wow, that has opened up stuff so much for Drip Drop Die.
Yeah, big entry slider, but our Clans kind of rushed in and got punished for it. So off that back of that, the triple kill, they were not really able to find anything. They kind of rushed the retake, but like Venom is gonna be able to survive. No, getting killed off that jump. When Rennie though finding a kill on the other side and able to get a trade on the zap. So this game is sort of just stalling out mid. Neither team able to score minute and a half in.
We've seen a lot of scrappiness come out, but no points on the board just yet. The Dreadbringer from Inkfetti is currently holding a power clam. Does have Slider ready. We've got Tacticaler ready. We've got a Wave Breaker ready. We've got a lot of things ready on the side from Inkfetti. Kuriyama going in, but the Kraken, obviously, you know, special that has invincibility, and Curbs is able to use it to be able to get a pick there still. JT wants to get in, take that space, finally get some points on the board, but that is the only amount of clams until we get a couple more clams picked up from other members of Inkfetti. They really don't have a lot of clams here. They're getting some nice picks. Solstice holding forward here. I'm now going to pop this bubble. Like, get over here now!
That push did not look good, but Solstice able to sort of weave through the three defenders, find an opening, and that is the first score of the game for Inkfetti. Kuriyama able to live enough to get a few more claims in, and Solstice maybe one or two more. Instead finding a trade, I think. No, he's gonna find the double kill onto the 96. And Solstice just kind of single-handedly, not single-handedly, but largely, like taking control of this plot and able to preserve the push for Inkfetti.
Venomous is holding it down here, getting a pick. Does have other players in their sights. Watching Inkfetti. Z-Bunny wants to get in, score this clam. Inkfetti does have control of the opponent's spinner here at this point. They're going to use Kraken to start pushing people away, but I think just really used it without a whole lot of just the rest of the team being ready to take advantage of it. And that means Inkfetti gets to get more points on the board.
Yeah, they have the Kraken, but everyone else has died. So, even that retake did not go through. Z-Bunny trying to get that claim. They're unable to score it, so it's just going to be 36 points for Inkfetti. Solstice finding another kill on top mid. He's going to be above. I'm not Marina going to figure it out. Yeah. So, but still, it's only a neutral situation for Drop Up Die. That Hammer not finding a pick, although the Slosher, the Slider, is going to follow up 2 kills for Timmer. And with that, they have found their break out of mid. If they can find a kill in the Zap. But no, it's gonna get stalled out. JT living, and actually a follow-up kill on his Timmer. And even with this Kraken, I don't think they're gonna be able to make it in.
Yeah, JT was taken out, and Curbs run over by the Slider. No points going to be scored for Drip Drop Die here. They are Drip Drop dying at this point. Winrina holding down the mid, trying to stay alive, sharking at this point, making sure not to give away their position too much, I think. But JT does spot them. However, we've turned this into a team fight. We're bringing in the Hammer. We're going to toss it. We're going to get a pick off of that.
Yeah.
This is time. 3 members are down. There is a disconnection over on Inkfetti's side, and we're playing this out. This is time for Drip Drop Die to score.
It's too late in the game, and I think this might actually be a that is honestly very unfortunate for Inkfetti. Even off of the back of that pushes, like they have the disconnect, and just that one fight. It is going to be a lead for Drip Drop Die, and I think the game. So, you know, happens. That's the game sometimes.
Happen,
although I think that's really gotta hurt if you're Inkfetti. I think you're in control of that whole game.
Yeah.
The fact that you lose that is off the back of kind of not your fault. Like, that's gotta suck. I think in your team VC, you just gotta say, you know, go next.
Yep.
Like, we had that game essentially. But like now you're kind of staring down off the but off the back of that DC, you're kind of staring down the reverse sweep, where before it was looking like it was gonna be maybe a really close series. But I mean, it still might be a really close series. Inkfetti was essentially winning that game until 40 seconds when they had to play to DC. But JT, like, that last hold, like, JT managing to live the push and then finding the follow-up kill on the Timmer, just breaking up the entire thing. So, I think Freddy definitely still has fight in them, even if that's disconnect was unfortunate. I think I will have to get that player back in the lobby, and then we'll see if they can bring that amount of energy to I can't think of what the map's called. Undertow Rainmaker.
Yeah, Undertow, Spillway, Rainmaker. Gotta want to hold forward, go fast. Most of the time, teams opt to run the Rainmaker left, which is oftentimes the easier route to take. It is farther away from the opponent's spawn. They have to run farther over to, from their perspective, would be the right checkpoint. Sometimes, if, you know, people are all stacked on one position, you'd be like, you know what, just kidding, we're going for a really quick right check from our perspective attacking, just because we want to make sure we get this checkpoint cleared, and then we're going to run it forward. But I would not be surprised if we see either team opt for making sure that left side is painted when they're attacking and moving in.
Yeah. Okay. Moving into game 3, we are still running a very aggro comp for Dripped Up Die. This time with the Sploosh, I think the Rainmaker pick of legend. And but I don't know if they'll get this pop. Oh, Solstice actually getting picked on the front, so. But with the Wellspring, it should be pop for Infetti. Rina trying to shark up on front, not finding a pick immediately, but maybe onto the Zap. And Dripped Up by quickly taking the Rainmaker left side before even a team fight.
Yeah, they said, let's just move it really quick. 30 seconds in, we've got the checkpoint cleared. Let's keep it painted. Let's keep moving. They've popped it. They're going to start trying to get their points on the board. I love that they're moving the rest of the team forward. That splashdown coming out, getting a pick. They're going to rotate through the grates, take this position a little bit higher up. They have lost the Rainmaker, but there's only one person alive. Solstice has to hold this down for the rest of the team to get in. They get a slash in. They stop it for now. The jumps are coming in. Drop Die wants to end it.
Solstice again finding those clutch kills, like saying, nah, we're not gonna go out like that. Solstice finding the pick. I think they might have overextended here. They're gonna have to pop the bubble to live, and still Timur is gonna find the pick. So it is a disadvantaged state in neutral now for Infetti. Curbs trying to push up and find they're gonna find a kill on the Wellstring, but I think they might die to this Wavebreaker. Nope, just barely. Kuriyamari with the crab, hoping to open things up. Yeah, the movement. Not gonna find a pick with the crab, but going to zone out all the members of Dripped Up Die, but it's still Timur finds the opening, like punishes the crab, and that is his control for Dripped Up Die. The hammer also gonna come out. This throw, Kuriyamari is already dropped off, but still gonna get picked by Winrino. So let's see if Solstice can pull out another clutch. He is in a position to do so. And going to find the second trade. This slider is a bit early, it can't pop the Rainmaker, and Z-Bunny finding the kill, so it's just going to be Winrina here, and they're probably going to have to move back out.
Z-Bunny wants to start painting up this mid area. It looks like everybody knows where the members of Dripped Up Die are, but that Luda Blaster getting a sick double onto there was taken out. That is just every pick that happens here, even if it's a trade, is going to benefit Dripped Up Die. They have such a strong score at this point. Kuriyamari, though, getting a really important kill onto that Sploosh, starting to paint up this left path here. Solstice moving forward. Are they going to get that pick? They do! They've got that painted. This looks like could be checkpoint break for Infetti. They're going to have to move it fairly far, down to an 11, to be able to get this lead. But this hammer...
but Curbs is the only one alive, though. The hammer fighting a quad! And they did not account for that. Curbs says, no, we're not going to go down like that either. And stops the push single-handedly. So now, in a 1v4. So now, Dripped Up Die walking back up, Venomous with the splashdown, trying to take space on the left. They are going to find a pick, and just Z-Bunny here alone can't really do much to stop this walk up. And I think Timur has DC'd, or the host has DC'd.
I think we may have had a host DC off.
I think it was the host. Now, I'm not too familiar with the DC rules for this tournament, so is that a win for Dripped Up Die?
Oh, I don't know who was hosting. Like, that's my question. Sometimes that is what determines if there's a host DC, generally that is counted against whichever team is hosting.
Okay, so I think we're waiting for input from our team. That is a
All right, if the host disconnects, a new host must be determined. If the host disconnected, a replay may be called if game timer is greater than 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, and this is, a key point, objective has not been pushed more than 50 points, which it most certainly was.
yeah. So I'm not sure if that was that could have just, I'm not sure if that was a spectator DC though, or
Yeah, because I'm not sure if we had spec hosting.
yeah. I will say the set has just been listed as a 3-0 for Drip.Die on Sendu Q, or on Sendu. So seems like at least the teams think that Drip.Die should have taken that.
Yeah, they did. They had scored more than 50 points. Was the game timer beyond halfway through? I think it was.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems that it was just our spectator DCing and not a lobby disconnect. So it looks like it was a win for Drip.Die.
Nintendo robbing us of seeing the victory.
Robbing us of what had to have been some more crazy stuff. And not technically a DC rule win, but still I don't know what happened in the last 30 seconds or whatever of that game. But that is going to be, it seems, a 3-0 for Drip.Die in the finals of our Beginners Academy Showcase Season 5.
Yep, that's one way to become valedictorian. But you know what? You gotta roll with it. I think we did see some really good strong showings from Inkfetti, so I do hope that they don't feel too bad about how this went down. We saw a lot of promise from them, and I hope that they learned a lot through this tournament. We saw a lot of great plays. I saw things cooking from their side.
I mean, I want to shout out Solstice for cooking for 2 sets straight on stream.
Yeah, oh my god.
Pretty fun to watch.
Solstice.
But, I mean, sometimes that's the Splatoon comp experience. Is
yeah, it sure
you win
is.
sets on DCs, you lose them on DCs. Like,
hey,
you
this
just
is
say
when I
go
plug.
next to that. I think, yeah.
Go if you've got a land near you. You know what doesn't happen, and if it does, there's a problem. You should go find a LAN and go play at them. They're super fun. But man, yeah, I want to shout out everybody who was involved in Season 5. We had several coaches working with all of these teams. Shout out to all of the players of these teams who came in and tried out competitive Splatoon and hopefully made some great friends and teammates. And I really hope that we see a lot of these players continue on and keep playing.
Yeah. No, definitely. I will say, I've casted low-level tournaments before, and this was definitely, I think, more fun to watch than some low-level events I've seen, so.
I love it.
This was very cool.
Yes. Reminder, if anybody wants to participate in Stronghold Beginners Academy Showcase for Season 6, please go sign up. You can also find tons of resources on Splatoon Stronghold's website. Various things if you want to learn about competitive, you want to get into competitive. If watching, I know that having it, get DC'd at the end is maybe like, oh, well, that's kind of lame. But, Splatoon 3 is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun to play competitively, and I hope that anybody watching who has not started yet gets inspired to try it out. And I think the Splatoon Stronghold is a fantastic resource for people who have never done competitive before but want to try it out.
Yeah.
But I think that is it from us, unless the voices in our heads have anything else to add that we need to make sure that we don't miss, but if they don't chime into our heads, where can people find you, Fern?
Wait, hold on. That's all. Okay. So, yeah, I am RemixFern_Nautilus on YouTube and Blue Sky. I have a name training video coming out at some point, so another one. So, keep out for that. Rose?
You can find me over on Twitch and YouTube and Blue Sky at Rose of Battle. You can find a video coming out very soon from the charity tournament that just happened yesterday for Raise for Rices. From my perspective, just another example of how fun competitive Splatoon is, with a lot of fantastic people participating from the tournament organizing side of things, all playing together. And that's going to be it for Season 5 of the Splatoon Stronghold Beginners Academy. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Thank you to the production staff for putting this all together. The graphics have been amazing. Absolutely fun way. And you know what? This is the most Splatoon 3 way to end a tournament. I think this really shows what this game is about.
Yeah. I'm getting major ATV Resurgence qualifier
Yes.
flashbacks to this tournament.
Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you. Stay tuned for more info from the Splatoon Stronghold. You can join their Discord server. You can check out their website. Thank you, and we will catch you at another time.
Yeah.
Do you want to get started in competitive Splatoon, but don't know how to? The Stronghold offers a free Beginners Academy service for new players wanting to play Splatoon competitively. We want to make it as easy as possible for new players to join competitive. We'll create teams out of applicants and train you through a season, providing scrims, practices, and coaching. At the end of the season, teams that graduate will play in their first community tournament. Graduating teams will be given a free logo and invited to play in the invite-only Academy Showcase event, where they get to play on stream and show off the skills they've learned in the Academy. So what are you waiting for? Apply for the Academy today using the link on screen.